Chapter 69, Fu Shishan's Departure. Chapter 69, Fu Shishan's Departure. Long Fei came to Fengyuan Merchant Union to ask if there were any continued life pill or pills. It was impossible to kill a giant dragon in a short period of time. He could only preserve his life. The Fengyuan Merchant Union was one of the 10 commercial alliances and had countless resources. They would definitely have this pill. Even if they did not have it, they would still know the formula for it. So Long Fei came. What he did not expect was that Fu Shishan had actually prepared it for him in advance. His heart was filled with gratitude. At the same time, he was filled with doubts. How did she know I needed it? Lu Feng said. That day after returning from the Long family, Miss had been preparing. She used all her connections and also bought 3 continued life pills with all of her savings. Actually, Lu Feng did not say everything. The reason why Fu Shishan was actually being escorted back to the main alliance was not because she wanted to protect Long Fei, but because of the continued life pill. 1 continued life pill was worth hundreds of spirit stones. This was not something that her savings could afford. Rather, it was Fu Shishan who used the connections and resources that the Fengyuan Merchant Union could not use. It was because of this that he was taken back. Moreover, this was a heinous crime, and the punishment Fu Shishan received was also the most serious. This was also something that Fu Shishan had specially instructed Lu Feng not to know. She knew that the other day, Long Fei was shocked in his heart and did not think too much about it. Lu Feng said, the Fengyuan Merchant Union also has powerful warriors present in the Fire Glass City. Otherwise, do you think the Fengyuan Merchant Union would be able to stay in the Fire Glass City so safely? On that day, the experts of our Fengyuan Merchant Union saw that Master Long's body was severely injured from releasing the War Master Ream. Miss also guessed that some expert from the War Master Ream would come and test Master Long's cultivation level. And at that time, Master Long would definitely release it again on behalf of the Long family and you, and also use the dragon blood essence. And at that time, he will be at the end of his tether. All of these were within Fu Shishan's expectations. After staying in Fire Glass City for so many years, she had long seen everything clearly. It was just that. He had been doing his best for so many years and did not participate in the Fire Glass City's internal conflict. This time, he did not know if he got the wrong nerve, but rather he wanted to participate in it for Long Fei. Furthermore, she even threw herself in. Long Fei's heart was filled with gratitude as he said in a heavy voice, "Thank you, your pavilion master." "Thank you. I, Long Fei, am unable to repay you in any way, as long as it is something Pavilion Master Fu can use. I, Long Fei, will not refuse it no matter what." He didn't know how to thank her. Continued life pill as were too important to him. Lu Feng smiled faintly and said, "As long as you don't forget our young miss." Lu Feng wanted to say something, but held back in the end. Long Fei said in a heavy voice, "Long Fei will remember this great kindness of Pavilion Master Fu's for the rest of his life. I will never forget it. Old Lu, Grandpa is still waiting for me. I'll go back first." Lu Feng said, "Hurry up and go. If you have anything to say, just keep looking for me." Long Fei did not dare delay any further, and quickly returned to the Long family residence. Lu Feng muttered, "As long as I am still in the Fire Glass City, it's just that my days in Fire Glass City are not that long." Humph! Lu Feng sighed heavily. He looked at the sky and muttered, "Miss, is what you're doing really worth it?" He was very clear what kind of punishment Fu Shishan would suffer. In his heart, he felt that Fu Shishan was not worth it, but as long as Fu Shishan made a choice, he would fully support him. Looking at the direction in which Long Fei disappeared in, Lu Feng said in a low voice, "Long Fei, I hope you understand the painstaking effort Miss has put in, and love." Continued life pill. One would last for 3 months. This kind of pill was considered heaven-defying. Once there was no continuation of the continued life pill, it would immediately die. Other than that, continued life pill has another drawback, that during the time you consume the pill, your cultivation would only be half of its normal level. 3 continued life pill would also mean 9 months. Simply put, Long Sanfeng only had 9 months, and his cultivation was only at War Chief realm. After consuming it, Long Sanfeng's vital energy and blood improved greatly. He looked at Long Fei and said, "Xiao Fei, why would you waste this kind of medicinal pellet on me?" The price of continued life pill S was heaven-defying. 1 pill was worth billions of silver. Long Zhanhai was also puzzled. "Xiao Fei, how did you get a continued life pill?" 3 of them at the same time. This kind of pellet can only be refined by the alchemy masters of a few powerful sections. Since grandfather's life was temporarily saved, Long Fei was relieved and said with a smile, "You don't have to worry about that. Within 9 months, I will definitely kill a huge dragon and use its blood essence to reconstruct grandfather's body." He spoke firmly. Long Fei would never let death take his grandfather's life from his hands. Long Sanfeng and Long Zhanhai's minds tightened, because Long Fei's expression was exactly the same as his father's back then. They were both shocked in their hearts. "Grandfather, you take a good rest. I'll be leaving first." Long Fei left. Only Long Zhanhai and Long Sanfeng were left in the room. Long Sanfeng sighed heavily. "It's all my fault. I was useless. I even had my grandson to help me, this old man." "Sigh. Dad, don't say that. As you can see, Long Fei is different from before. He can take charge of himself now, and his calm, unyielding spirit is even stronger than third brother's. I'm starting to believe in him a little now." Long Zhanhai slightly said, "Believe what?" "I believe that he will be able to kill a gigantic dragon and use its dragon blood to rebuild your body within 9 months. You are also stunned. Where is the dragon? You said that you could kill a huge dragon just by killing it." "Father, I know that it will be extremely difficult, but I still believe in him, just like how none of us thought he would know about the dragon's salure. There is no justification for such trust. They just believed him." Long Sanfeng thought for a while, then asked, "Have you made any plans for Xiao Fei's training?" Long Zhanhai immediately said, "I really want to discuss this with you. I want to bring Long Fei into the Long family's army." "Huh." Long Sanfeng's expression changed. He had thought of all the cultivation arrangements for Long Fei, but he didn't think that Long Zhanhai would actually want to throw Long Fei into the Long family's army. Long Fei is only in the war spirit realm now. He wouldn't even be able to live in that kind of environment. As his grandfather, the first thing he was worried about was Long Fei's safety. Long Zhanhai knew that the old man would object and said immediately, "Father, Long Fei's potential is much greater than what we imagined, and I really can't find a suitable place for Xiao Fei to cultivate, and the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains that the Long family's army is stationed at is the best place, and I want him to be acknowledged by the Long family's army. I want him to completely take over the Long family's army, not because of his identity as a dragon god warrior, nor because of the deterrence of the dragon salure, and not even as the Long family's patriarch, but because of his own strength to make the Long family's army acknowledge him." That was what he was thinking. Long Sanfeng went silent. This arrangement was indeed good, but the test was too heavy. "Can't we wait for him to grow a little longer?" Long Sanfeng was still very worried. He was just a grandson, and he felt that he owed Long Fei's father, but he didn't want to owe this grandson of his anymore. Long Zhanhai slightly said, "Our Long family doesn't have much time left." Chapter 70, Eastern Bastard Brother. Chapter 70, Eastern Bastard Brother Prince Nangong's Manor. In the secret room, Nangong Lai's face flushed red, the blood and energy in his chest tumbled, and in the end, pooh! He spat out a mouthful of blood, and then Nangong Lai pressed down with both hands, and the true breath surged, merging into the pubes once again. After consuming a few high-grade pellets, his eyes slightly opened. The supreme artifact's strength is too strong. Even a half of a dragon salyer would be incomparably strong. Nangong Hui, this dog of a father and son, using me as your cannon fodder. This debt will be settled sooner or later. Nangong Lai said in anger. Nangong Lai walked over and asked, Father, are you all right? Nangong Lai stood up and said, I'm fine. I was injured by the dragon salyer's chi, and will be able to recover in half a year's time. Why didn't you tell me about the dragon salyer beforehand? Heir. Nangong's expression slightly changed as he said, This child didn't know that father was going to the Long family, so I didn't have the time to tell you. Forget it. Nangong Hua is being too hasty. I don't have time to tell you. Nangong Lai exhaled. Then he thought of Long Fei and asked, When did the Long family produce a genius in martial arts? He can actually block a move of mine that would cause the sea of fury to boil. He was at the War Master Ream realm, not to mention the realm of the War Spirit. Even if he was an expert at the peak of the War Chief, he would be able to kill him in one move. However, Long Fei actually managed to neutralize his attack. This was not something that could be done on a normal day. Nangong Lai immediately thought of Long Fei and said, He is that Long Fei whose dragon blood was drawn out and whose pubes was shattered. I don't know what fortuitous encounter he had in the past half year, but his cultivation has advanced by leaps and bounds, training in all kinds of powerful and mysterious techniques. This child guesses, could it be that the secret of the dragon salyer was discovered by him? Impossible. Nangong Lai immediately denied it and said, Half of the dragon salyer is simply unable to solve the secret within the other half. After a moment of silence, Nangong Lai said, The other half is in the hands of that old bastard Nangong Wudi. Huh. Nangong Lai's heart skipped a beat. He did not know that the half of the dragon salyer was in the hands of the Nangong family. Nangong Lai slightly said, To be honest, I have yet to test it out. If he isn't War Master Ream, then he must be a super madman. Forcefully releasing the War Master Ream's chi all this time consumed a lot of his life force. Moreover, in the last move, he had released all of his dragon blood essence. If not for the War Master Ream, he would not have lived for more than 3 days. And then, Nangong Lai slightly said, Even if Lunatic Long is a War Master Ream, his injuries are still heavier than mine, and he won't be able to recover in 1 or 2 years. Right. If Nangong Hua asks, you can tell him that Lunatic Long is a War Master Ream cultivator, and must make that old fellow, Nangong Wudi, nervous. Nangong Lai's eyes slightly narrowed as he muttered, Nangong Wudi, you have been at peace for so many years. It's time for you to get nervous. As you command. When Nangong Lai left the secret room, his mind was still thinking about the dragon salyer and Long Fei. Does this son-in-law want it or not? The half of a dragon salyer was actually taken away by the Nangong imperial family, concealing a secret that had been hidden for thousands of years. If they were to let the Nangong family snatch the dragon salyer from Long Fei's hands and merge them, then the secret of the dragon salyer would definitely be found out by Nangong Wudi. As the patriarch of the Nangong imperial clan, he had to consider the future of the clan. Moreover, he had always wanted to restore his family's previous name, Father. Just as Nangong Lai was in a daze, Nangong Yen ran over. An excited smile hung on Nangong Yan's face as he said, Father, who are you looking for? There were 2 people standing behind Nangong Yen. One was a young genius, while the other was an old man in a black robe. The old man's eyes gave off a terrifying aura. Nangong Lei immediately went up to welcome him, knelt on one knee, and said with a heavy tone, "Greetings, master!" The black-robed old man gently raised his right hand, and a wave of true breath pulled Nangong Lei's knee, and said, "You are now Prince Nangong, so you don't have to be so courteous to me." The young talent politely said, "Greetings, Uncle Nangong." Nangong Lei was slightly taken aback. Nangong Yen was overjoyed. "Daddy, you don't even remember big brother Dongfang Jian." It's a small sword. It's already grown so big." Nangong Lei was shocked. It had been a few years since they last met, and he almost could not recognize it. But then again, what about Dongfang Jian's cultivation? Very strong. The battle qi on his body was the strongest existence among the younger generation that he had ever seen. Nangong Yen said, "Big brother Jian is already a war chief. Daddy, is he powerful?" Dongfang Jian smiled humbly and said, "Break through the war elder realm within a year." Huh! Nangong Lei was even more shocked in his heart. It had to be known that he was the true descendant of a sect. His cultivation was completely different from an ordinary martial artist's. It was as if ordinary people were unorthodox, and he was the true descendant. In the same batch, no one was their match. This was also the reason why many people wanted to enter the sect. The Heaven Sect was the #1 sect in Fire Glass Dynasty, an existence with a powerful force. Moreover, Dongfang Jian's father was even the vice sect master, and could be said to be a favored son of heaven. Even the princes of the Nangong imperial family couldn't compare to him. Good. Nangong Lei kept praising her. And then the black-robed elder said slightly, "I heard from Yenner that Prince Nangong's estate has met with some trouble recently." Nangong Yen coldly snorted and said disdainfully, "Isn't it that arrogant Long family repeatedly forcing my father to marry that trash, Long Fei? If it wasn't for the emperor giving me the right to marry, I wouldn't have agreed at all to the Long family's coercion. There isn't a single good thing in the Long family that can bully others with power. This time you even want me to." Woo-woo. As he spoke, Nangong Yen started to sob softly. His acting skills were even better than that of the Oscars. Dongfang Jian immediately took a step forward and asked with concern, "Little Sister Yen, what does he want from you?" "As long as I am here, if anyone in Fireglass City dares to bully you, I will kill them all with a single sword." Nangong Yen was overjoyed in his heart. He immediately leaned into Dongfang Jian's embrace pitifully and said, "Big brother Jian, he wants me to accompany her." Woo-woo. In the end, she cried even harder. Dongfang Jian's battle qi suddenly surged, and she bellowed, "You dog, I think he's tired of living. I'll go and kill him right now." He couldn't suppress his rage any longer. Nangong Yen was ecstatic, but on the surface, he still looked pitiful. "He can even kill a level 7 expert of the war chief. I'm afraid, big brother Jian." Huh. The 7th level of the war chief is nothing. I can kill a 7th level war chief with one finger. Dongfang Jian became even more unhappy and shouted, "Tell me where his house is located. I'll kill him right now." As he spoke, he raised his sword and charged forward. "Jenner, don't act recklessly." Looking at Nangong Lei, he said, "Isn't the Long family the weakest family in the 4 pillars?" "How?" Nangong Lei laughed bitterly. "The Long family has brought back the dragon salyer." "Huh. Fireglass City's #1 holy artifact." The old man in black was slightly surprised. "No wonder." Nangong Yen said in a spoiled manner, "Father, I don't care. I don't want to marry that trash. Even if I die, I won't marry him. I want to end the engagement." With Dongfang Jian and the black-robed old man here, Nangong Yen felt that this was an excellent opportunity. Her talent and cultivation could not be considered to be outstanding. However, she knew how to use her advantage and power. This was her intelligence. If the Chao Tian sect was going to back her up, then she would be fearless. So, what if the emperor bestowed her a marriage? Dongfang Jian was overjoyed and immediately said, "Little sister Yen, I support you." Chapter 71. The opportunity has come. Chapter 71. The opportunity has come. Nangong Lei knew very clearly what his daughter wanted. However, Nangong Lei's brows tightened as he muttered, "The Long family has an expert from the War Master Reem guarding them, and we're even able to find the dragon-slaying saber. If we want to end the engagement, I'm afraid it won't be that simple." The black-robed old man looked at Dongfang Jian and said, "What's a mere War Master Reem to you?" Dongfang Jian said proudly, "Uncle Chen, you can kill a low-level War Master expert in one move. You don't have to worry, Uncle Nangong." Nangong Yen once again said in a spoiled manner, "Daddy, just like your daughter and the engagement, Big Brother Jian is 10,000 times better than him. If you want to marry me, you have to marry a man like Big Brother Jian. You don't need to marry a piece of trash." Dongfang Jian was even more agitated in his heart, to the point where he nearly hugged Nangong Yen tightly. He trained wholeheartedly. How could he be a match for Nangong Yen in terms of emotions? In terms of playing with emotions, Nangong Yen was as pure as fire. She was simply an expert amongst experts. From the very first moment Dongfang Jian saw her, he was infatuated with her. It was also at this time. The old butler hurried over and whispered, "Your Highness, there is an urgent report from the underworld." "Huh?" Nangong Lei slightly shouted, "What urgent matter? Can't you see that I have an important guest here?" The old steward replied, "It's about the dragon clan's great ancestor. It's very urgent, you see." The old man in black said, slightly, "You should go take a look. We will stay in Fireglass City for a while and arrange for a disciple recruitment event for the Heaven Sect at the beginning of next year." Hearing that, Nangong Yen was ecstatic and said, "Brother Jian, you will also stay, right?" He thought to himself, "Since the Heaven Sect is recruiting disciples, I must enter the Heaven Sect. As long as I enter the Heaven Sect, I can get rid of that trash, Long Fei." Ha ha ha. His heart was abnormally excited. Dongfang Jian immediately nodded his head and said, "And I will also be staying in Fireglass City for a while. Little sister, Yen, are you coming with me to the Heaven Sect?" Nangong Yen feebly said, "Is that really possible? My cultivation is still lacking a little bit more to qualify for it." Ha ha ha. Dongfang Jian had a complacent look on his face as he said, "Others might need your qualifications, but you don't. As long as my father says it, you can immediately become an inner disciple. Don't worry." Nangong Yen was overjoyed as she asked weakly, "Is it really possible?" "Of course." Dongfang Jian was very pleased with himself. It was also at this time Nangong Lei walked over, his face carrying an excited smile, and said, "Yenna, didn't you say you want to end the marriage? This is a good opportunity." He already knew everything about Lunatic Long. He speculated that there was a high chance that Dragon Madman wasn't Elder Realm. He was forcefully releasing it, and his body was already severely injured. This was a perfect opportunity. Moreover, the Long family didn't dare to refuse. Nangong Yen was overjoyed and said, "Father, is it true?" "Humph! Long Fei, I can finally get rid of you." Nangong Yen coldly snorted. Thinking back to what happened at martial arts arena that day, she felt extremely unhappy in her heart. "I've already sent someone to inform the Long family." Nangong Lei had his own plans. Originally, This marriage could have continued. After all, there was still a layer of alliance between this and the Long family. However, after he heard about the matter with the dragon Salyer, he felt extremely upset. Coincidentally, Dongfang Jian's appearance allowed him to see a trace of hope. Dongfang Jian was the only son of the Arching Sky Sect's vice sect master. As long as he was firmly held in his hands, he did not have to fear anyone. As long as he made good use of them, he would be able to control everything. At that time, the ancestors' wishes might be fulfilled, and he could change his surname. A Long Family Scripture Pavilion. The Long Family Scripture Pavilion encompassed a myriad of mysterious cultivation techniques and martial skills. There were also some mysterious places on the continent, such as forbidden areas, dangerous areas, and even places outside the continent. So God's martial continent is divided into 5 regions. Fire Glass Dynasty resides in the South Horizon region and is the weakest of the 5 Great Plates. Long Fei muttered. He searched through the books for information on the dragon race, but could not find anything. Long Fei spent the next few days in the Scripture Pavilion. They were looking for a gathering place for the dragons. It was just that, except for the occasional dragon. Giants were always hidden in the gold mines. They loved things that glittered with golden light. What huge dragon! They were hiding in the depths of the sea. They were the overlords of the seas. Furthermore, some dragon clan was hidden in the heavenly palace and looked down at the entire god's martial continent. Some are even more outrageous, saying that the dragon race's illusions are hidden in the crowd, and they are constantly staring at you. Long Fei saw all these and felt his head hurt, and then Long Fei took out another Heavenly Dragons book, casually flipped through a few pages, and discovered another bleak book. Just like some broken eggs in his previous life, he muttered in his heart, "Could it be that there are people who write novels in this world?" He skipped over some content and flipped to the last page. From Old Man Tianlong's Travels. F***CK. It really is a novel written by a person who has nothing better to do. Long Fei cursed, and then was attracted by a few small words at the bottom of the book. The dragon race once dominated the sky, and after the birth of the human rankers, they were gradually driven out of the 5 regions and disappeared into the continent, hiding in some mysterious corner. However, there were a few dragon races that did not leave, but because in the Swamp Mountains there was the Dragon Clan's ancestor that once massacred the dragon, and then in the Great Desolate Mountain, with a single thought, they killed all living beings. Long Fei frowned. The Long family's ancestor should be Long Zhantian. Could it be that the wildfire in the Great Desolate Mountain was spouted by a huge dragon? What kind of place is the Great Desolate Mountain? It feels so familiar. I feel like I've heard it somewhere. Long Fei kept thinking about it, but he couldn't think of anything. Grandfather only has 9 months of life. I must kill a huge dragon and find a large amount of dragon blood to rebuild grandfather's body. I definitely won't let this relative leave me. Great Desolate Mountain. Great Desolate Mountain. Just where is it? It was also at this time Long Zhanhai walked into the Scripture Pavilion and saw that there were various types of books surrounding Long Fei. All of these books were unusual legends, invented by a few bored people, and could not help but say, "Long Fei, the things recorded in these books are not to be trusted." Uncle. Long Fei came back to reality and asked, "Looking for me?" Long Zhanhai frowned and said, "The King Nengong residence has sent a message. They want us to go to the prince's mansion tomorrow morning." K. How arrogant. If there's anything to talk about, then come to the Long family's residence. Why should we go to his residence? Long Fei said in an unhappy tone, before even settling the matter of Nangong injuring grandfather. "He came to find us first." Indeed, Long Zhanhai, was also dissatisfied in his heart, but the current Long family simply did not have the strength to contend against Nan Gong Lei. Moreover, just today, during the morning assembly, Nan Gong Lei had said that the Long family army had not contributed much in the past few years, just like raising a bunch of pigs. The Long family's army was stationed in hundreds of thousands of barren mountains to protect the Fireglass dynasty, and they were in the most dangerous position. It was all the fault of the Long family that they were still too weak. Otherwise, they wouldn't have ended up like this. Long Zhanhai said slightly, "Rest early tonight, put on some clothes tomorrow, and come with me to the prince's mansion." After saying that, Long Zhanhai wanted to say something but hesitated. In the end, he did not say it out, as he faintly guessed that he had to go to the Nan Gong residence this time. Chapter 72. I'm choking to death. Chapter 72. I'm choking to death. Although Long Fei was unhappy, he still followed Long Zhanhai to the King Nangong residence for the big picture of the Long family. The Nangong palace was extremely luxurious. It was much more imposing than the Long family. The pavilion was a fake mountain, and the small bridge was flowing with water. It was extremely luxurious. It was enormous and imposing, as if a huge beast was occupying the courtyard. Furthermore, the courtyard was placed in an orderly manner with extreme care. It even gave him the feeling that there was a powerful formation hidden within it. Long Zhanhai reminded him in a low voice, "Wait a moment, don't say anything." Long Fei nodded. "Got it. Ha ha ha. General Long, you're here. Hurry, come in." A housekeeper came out to welcome them and said, "The prince has been waiting for you inside for a long time." The person who greeted him was only a butler. If it was at the peak of the Long family's power, Nan Gong Lei would definitely not dare to do so. This time, Long Zhanhai laughed. "I've made your highness wait a long time." In the main hall, Nan Gong Lei first looked at Long Fei, and then said to Long Zhanhai, "I had originally wanted to go to Holy Dragon Mansion to discuss this matter, but recently my body has been feeling a little unwell, and I can only let General Long come to my residence. I am truly sorry." He said he was sorry, but he didn't have any intention of apologizing. His tone and eyes were filled with cold arrogance. Long Fei was unhappy. Long Zhanhai laughed. "It's the same no matter where we go. It's also the same when we come to the prince's mansion. I just wonder, why does the prince want us to come here to discuss something?" Nan Gong Lei squinted his eyes as he forced a smile. At this moment, two people walked out from the back room. The first to walk out was a woman. Wearing white clothes, a complacent smile appeared on his face. He was like a celestial fairy, devoid of worldly pleasures and beauty, but his eyes were filled with coldness. Nangong Yen, Fireglass Dynasty's #1 beauty. He had to say it. Nangong Yen was really beautiful. That pair of ice-cold eyes were filled with endless charm, and her figure was like a water snake. She was innately bewitching, and no man could resist her. Simply put, it was hard for others to stop. They all wanted to go all out. However, Nangong Yen coldly glanced at Long Fei and directly grabbed onto the arm of a young man. The contempt on his face grew even stronger, and he directly said, "Father, if you can't say it, then I'll say it." Without waiting for her to finish speaking, Long Zhanhai frowned and suddenly stood up, then said with slight anger, "My prince, what do you mean by this? Nangong Yen is Long Fei's fiancée, but now she is holding onto the hand of another man." Nangong Yen held Dongfang Jian's hand with a face full of happiness and intimacy. When Long Zhanhai said this, she leaned her head into Dongfang Jian's embrace even more. Men and women weren't close with each other, and yet they had done such a thing. They had completely disregarded the Long family. Dongfang Jian's face was full of pride as he held Nangong Yen tightly. Nangong Yen sneered. General Long, my meaning is very simple. I want to cancel the engagement. Huh. Long Zhanhai frowned. Unknowingly, he released the war chief's profound spirit qi between his brows. Staring at Nangong Lei, he said, Reject the marriage? The emperor bestowed the marriage, and the grand elder nodded. You want to end the marriage? Your Highness, I can treat today's matter as a joke, and it has never happened before. He had thought about the consequences. However, she never expected that Nangong Yen would actually dare to cancel the engagement, and even call them over to her own home to end the engagement. This was bullying. This was not putting the Long family in his eyes at all. Too arrogant. The cold expression on Nangong Yan's face and the complacent expression in his eyes were both extremely arrogant. Nangong Lei did not speak. Nangong Yen said, The reason I called you over this time is to let you go to the emperor to propose a marriage annulment. The emperor will definitely agree to it. As for the grand master of the Long family, that is a matter for your Long family. Don't worry, after the marriage annulment, I will definitely give you a satisfactory compensation. You've gone too far. Long Zhanhai trembled violently. The aura of the peak war chief was released and scrupulously forming a strong qi that swept out and directly destroyed all the chairs in the hall. More than that, he even wanted the Long family to tell the emperor. He was humiliating the Long family, simply going too far. Ha ha! Is the war chief realm amazing? At this moment, Dongfang Jian sneered. The battle qi on his body suddenly stirred. The fierce tiger roared and blocked the attack from Long Zhanhai in an instant, and it was crushing. Long Zhanhai's brows tightened. Sex orthodoxy? The battle qi cultivated by the sect disciples were different from the battle qi cultivated by them. In terms of aura, the orthodox power of the sect was much stronger, and it was difficult to be inferior to those of the same rank. Dongfang Jian laughed disdainfully, then said, I still have some experience. I don't care if you are some dog fart Long family or some dog fart Four Pillars family. If my Yen sis wants to end the engagement, you better obediently do as she says. Otherwise, ha ha. Dongfang Jian sneered, his eyes filled with killing intent, and said, I will make you regret ever being born into this world. Boom. With that said, the battle qi on Dongfang Jian's body surged and pounced towards Long Zhanhai. Bang, bang. Long Zhanhai staggered backwards, and only after taking a few steps did he stabilize himself. His face was pale, and his breathing was unstable. Great, great, Big Brother Jian is great. Nangong Yen acted like a little woman and was extremely excited. He looked at Long Zhanhai with disdain. General Long, you have seen his cultivation, too. Only such an expert is worthy to be my Nangong Yan's husband. As for Long Fei, Nangong Yen sneered and said, a waste of negative activation to dragon blood simply doesn't have the qualifications to marry me, nor the qualifications to lick my shoes. Long Fei, you are just a toad. Understand? In this life, I will never like you, much less marry you. Just give up on this thought. I only like Brother Jian. Nangong Yen ruthlessly stepped on Long Fei to emphasize her superiority. After she finished speaking, she snuggled closer into Dongfang Jian's embrace. Dongfang Jian was the only son of the vice sect master of the Heaven sect. He could give himself too much to want. Moreover, he could directly bring him into the Heaven sect. Could Long Fei do that? No. Could Long Fei give him the sex cultivation resources? No. Long Fei couldn't give her anything. His current strength was not bad, but his negative activation to dragon blood was his weak point. In addition, his pubes had shattered and his veins were congealing, making it difficult for him to achieve much in the martial way. Thus, following him would only make him wait for this tiny fireglass city. She didn't want to spend the rest of her life with a good-for-nothing. Nangong Yen looked at the silent Long Fei, thinking that she had shocked him. He became even more pleased with himself and laughed. Big brother Jian, see if he was shocked silly by your battle chi, or not. Dongfang Jian also laughed complacently. With just a finger, I can kill this kind of trash. Long Zhanhai was furious. Long Fei could not hold it in any longer and asked, Uncle, can I talk? If you don't speak now, I'm going to suffocate to death. Chapter 73. Invincible. Chapter 73. Invincible. Long Zhanhai was startled for a moment and said, Just say what you want to say. He was really holding his breath. It was not that he did not want to say it, but Long Zhanhai did not want him to say it. Long Fei took a step forward, looked at Dongfang Jian, then looked at the proud face of Nangong Yen, sneered, and said, Beautiful your *king sense of superiority. He immediately cursed angrily. Immediately. Everyone in the hall was shocked. Long Fei continued to speak. Nangong Yen, what qualifications do you have to show me your sense of superiority? With your looks? Your figure? I'm sick of it. Brother, do you think she's still as pure as ice and jade? Ha ha ha. Then you're wrong. Her body has already been rotted by me. How could someone as idiotic as you be fooled by her? Look at her pretentious look. She's even more deadly in bed. Long Fei laughed and said, Big brother, could it be that you have such a good mouth? Then you must be careful, don't get infected by any strange diseases. Long Fei, Nangong Lei suddenly shouted. Nangong Yen seemed as if he was stepped on by a cat, as he said flustered and exasperatedly, Long Fei, what nonsense are you spouting? At this time, Dongfang Jian released Nangong Yen, and his face turned ice cold. Nangong Yen anxiously said, Big brother Jian, he is speaking nonsense. He is framing me. How can I possibly take a fancy to trash like him? Long Fei laughed and said, Big brother, you don't believe me, right? If you don't believe me, you can look at her knees. I can guarantee that there are still bruises on her knees, and when she kneeled in front of me that day, she was so strong. What the hell? Normal people can't resist it. You know that posture? Hee hee. A few days ago, he was forced to kneel on the ground by the Grand Duke's oppressive aura. Even if she was cured, her kneecap must still be bruised. Nangong Yen was so angry that his hair almost stood up straight. He glared at Long Fei and wished that he could tear him into 1,000 pieces. He screamed, Long Fei, I will kill you. Playing tricks? A feeling of superiority? Was Nangong Yen worthy to be Long Fei's opponent? Too weak. It was simply too weak. Long Fei had a look of fear on his face as he said, Big brother, did you see that? Being exposed her scars means that she is about to be silenced. Aren't you being too vicious? Nangong Yen was so angry that he went berserk. He pulled Dongfang Jian's hand and said, It's not like that, big brother Jian. It's not like that. I really have nothing to do with him. Sigh. Long Fei sighed, put on a look of helplessness, and said, Little sister Yen, please climb the high branch and tell me, I will let you go in any case. You are not much different from those women from Yihong Yuan. I do not mean it, but you cannot lie to this big brother. Big brother, let me ask you, do you think that someone who had been engaged for several years wouldn't have anything to do with each other? Look at those alluring eyes of hers. If it were you, would you be able to bear it? I guess you can't stand it. So do you think I'd lie to you? If you really don't believe me, then check her knees. If there's no injury on her knees, then prove that what I said was false. If there's an injury, then you have to be more careful. Maybe one day you'll have over 100 green hats on your head. Long Zhanhai was stunned. He started to admire Long Fei a little and praised in his heart, Awesome, this mouth of yours can actually kill people. and can even kill people's hearts. Ha ha. Long Fei, good boy. Long Zhanhai became angrier. Nangong Lei, I never thought that your daughter would be such a person. No wonder she doesn't know how to discipline you. You must be used to it, right? You. Nangong Lei was so angry that he couldn't say a word. He did not expect that Long Fei's words would actually be so powerful. It's not like that, Big Brother Jian. It's really not like that. Nangong Yen anxiously tried to explain. Dongfang Jian's tone was not as intimate as before, and carried a hint of coldness as he asked, "Little sister Yen, if that's not true, then show me your knee. That will prove your innocence. And then I'll kill him." Long Fei also said, "Little sister Yen, let me show you to him. That is the mark of our love." "You shut up." Nangong Yen was so angry that she couldn't take care of herself, and she knew very well that the injury on her knee had not healed yet. However, she couldn't explain it either. The more she explained, the paler she became, and the more she couldn't explain it clearly. He hated Long Fei to the bones. Dongfang Jian urged her, "Little sister Yen, let me take a look." "Big brother Jian, I really don't have one." Nangong Yen held onto her dress tightly. Long Fei laughed. "If I don't, let him have a look." "Ah." Nangong Yen was going crazy. He rushed towards Xiang Longfei with all his might. "I want to kill you." Long Fei immediately pretended to be afraid and said, "Murdering my husband. Little sister Yen, don't worry. I am indeed tired of playing with your body, but I will take responsibility towards you. If you don't want the child in your stomach, you can give it to me." Humph! Dongfang Jian could not bear it either. Swinging his sleeves, he turned and left with quick steps. Nangong Yen wanted to stop him, but he was pushed off and shouted, "Nangong Yen, please behave yourself." With that, Dongfang Jian walked out of the hall and quickly left the Duke Palace without looking back. His face was filled with anger. No, no, Big Brother Jian, it's really not like what he said. Nangong Yen burst into tears, gritting his teeth as he turned to look at Long Fei, screaming in pain, "Long Fei, I want you dead." Humph! Long Fei's expression became ice cold as he said, "With just you?" Without waiting for him to make a move, the aura of the Peak War Chief on Long Zhanhai's body suddenly shook and directly bounced Nangong Yen away and said coldly, "Nangong Lei, please control this unscrupulous daughter of yours. If you can't control it, I don't mind teaching you on your behalf." The voice boomed. The aura of the Peak War Chief diffused into every corner of the hall and was abnormally thick. The anger in Nangong Lei's heart raged, but he stood up and stared at Long Fei. "Since you don't want to break the engagement, then please go back." "No." Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "My prince, I can agree to break off the engagement, but only if—" Nangong Lei frowned and asked, "What is it?" Long Fei revealed an evil smile as he looked at Nangong Yen and said, "Let Nangong Yen accompany me for 3 days and 3 nights. After you finish accompanying me, I will immediately rescind the engagement." He was very clear that Nangong Yen was only a lowly person. Moreover, the natural seductive character that Nangong Yen possessed made it impossible for anyone to reject him. What Long Fei wanted was not love, but flesh. Isn't Nangong Yen noble? I will turn you into a piece of trash. Let's see if you can remain cold and arrogant. Treat the enemy. Long Fei would never be merciful, even if it was a woman. Long Fei. Nangong Lei was furious. Nangong Yen said in a weak voice, "Father, kill him, kill him." Long Fei laughed complacently. "If you don't agree, then don't. Why are you so angry? In 3 years, she will still be mine. At that time, if I want to play with her for a few days, it's not illegal to play with my own wife." Ha! Uncle, let's go. Long Zhanhai was so impressed that he kneeled down. Invincible, too awesome. Chapter 74. You're throwing me to hell. Chapter 74. You're throwing me to hell. A battle of words was invincible in the game. Long Fei alone could match up to a group. He had never lost. However, this world was a world of strong warriors. Today, he had used his mouth to suppress Nangong Lei, but the Long family situation would only get worse and worse. To change, it required power. The two of them left the prince's mansion and walked on the main street. Long Zhanhai asked indifferently, "What do you think?" Long Fei replied, "I don't have any ideas." "What?" Long Zhanhai was startled, then laughed. "Being bullied like this, how can you not have thoughts? This is not like the arrogant young lord of the Long family." Long Zhanhai naturally did not believe it. Everything that had happened in the great hall seemed as if they had won, but in reality, the Long family had suffered a crushing defeat. They want to end the engagement, not by coming to your house, but by making you come to his house. Is this called breaking off the engagement? Is there really such an arrogant marriage annulment? Furthermore, Nangong Yen had criticized Long Fei so much in front of him. If she did not have a strong backing, would she dare to do it? The most crucial point. In Long Zhanhai's heart, he had a feeling that Nangong Lei already knew about his grandelder's injuries. That was to say that the Long family had Nangong Lei's undercover spy. Long Fei laughed and asked back, "What do you think?" Long Zhanhai also laughed. "My fiancé isn't mine. What thoughts can I have? If it's my fiancé, I'll definitely snatch it. Even if I don't like it, I have to snatch it, because I'm a member of the Long family. When has my Long family ever been bullied before?" "Are you trying to provoke me?" Long Fei said, "Uncle, I am not a 3-year-old child, but I feel that you are right. When have the people of the Long family ever been bullied before? Daring to break off your father's engagement is even worse." "Ha ha ha." Long Zhanhai laughed loudly and said, "This is the seed of the Long family." "That's right." Long Zhanhai's expression became solemn and said, "I've been thinking about how I can help you during this period, and it was decided just now." "What decision?" Long Fei was startled. Long Zhanhai grinned excitedly. "I'm preparing to throw you into the Long family's army." Before he left the prince's mansion, he and Long Sanfeng had a trace of apprehension in his heart and was worried for Long Fei's safety. But now, he made up his mind. The time left to the Long family was too little, and to Long Fei, too, was too little. He had to let Long Fei quickly mature, and the Long family army stationed in the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains was the best choice. Moreover, every head of the Long family would enter the Long family's army to train. Only by obtaining the Long family's army's approval would they be able to control the Long family's army and become a divine dragon marquis. Supreme dragon of the Long family. Long Fei was dumbfounded. "Uncle, are you throwing me into hell?" Long Fei knew very well what kind of existence the Long family's army was. That place was definitely hell, and when the Long family's army trained people, they would only be doing it in the face of death. "Ha ha ha." "Are you scared?" Long Zhanhai laughed out loud. "This is a method that I thought of after breaking my brain. You won't disappoint your uncle, will you?" "Afraid?" Long Fei said arrogantly, "I don't have the word afraid in my dictionary. Isn't that the Long family army? I'll go. This is what the Long family is like. Ha ha ha." Long Zhanhai was very happy. He was even worried that Long Fei would reject him. From the looks of it, he was overthinking it. Actually, Long Fei himself knew that he needed a place to level up and break through. Nangong Lai's appearance made him realize that he had to quickly break through and level up so that he could take charge of the Long family and make the families in Fireglass City that were eyeing him covetously behave themselves. Grandpa was old, and he couldn't bear any more pain. He had to carry the Long family's banner. Thinking about a very important problem, Long Fei could not help but ask, "Uncle, where's the Long family army stationed at?" Just by training, these could only strengthen his body. What he wanted was to hunt demon beasts and level up. And he could only hunt demon beasts. Long Zhanhai replied excitedly, "Hell, where is it?" Long Fei asked. Long Zhanhai said, "Hundreds of thousands of barren mountains, an existence similar to hell." Hundreds of thousands of barren mountains. Long Fei's heart tensed up. This name feels like I've heard it before. Hundreds of thousands of barren mountains, desolate mountain, great desolate mountain. Suddenly, Long Fei's mind trembled. The great desolate mountain of the wildfire prairie. If that's the case, inexplicably, Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and asked anxiously, "When are you going?" Long Zhanhai was startled and asked, "When do you want to go?" "I'll go today." Prince Nangong's manner. Nangong Yen was so angry that he immediately became sick. If his cultivation was not good, he would have been angered to death by Long Fei. At this moment, Nangong Lei's face flushed red. He led Dongfang Jian and the black-robed old man into Nangong Yan's room and asked, "Yen, who did you see you?" Dongfang Jian immediately rushed forward and blamed himself. "Little sister Yen, it's all my fault, it's all my fault, it's all my fault, I should have trusted you." The situation had completely changed. Of course, this was because the black-robed elder behind him had told him that Nangong Yen was still a virgin. In his heart, he also hated Long Fei to the bones. Nangong Yan's expression changed as tears rolled down his face. "What are you still doing here? I don't want to see you again." As he spoke, he burst into tears. In actuality, there was no need to mention how happy Nangong Yan was in his heart. But at this time, she had to pretend to be wronged. She had to make Dongfang Jian feel that he owed her. As expected, Dongfang Jian started to get anxious. He looked at Nangong Lei and said, "Uncle Nangong, help me out. It's because I like little sister Yen that I'm provoked by Long Fei. Next time I see Long Fei, I must skin him alive." The black-robed old man moved slightly. An order badge and an ancient book landed on Nangong Yan's bed and said, "These two things can be considered as compensation to you. Don't pretend to be wronged in front of young master." Nangong Yan's expression was a little awkward. Looking at the order badge with the words "Inner Sect of the Chao Tian Sect" carved on it, he was overjoyed. This was the order badge for the Inner Sect Disciples of the Chao Tian Sect. With this medallion, he was like an inner disciple of the Heaven Sect. Then he looked at another ancient book. Nangong Yen was ecstatic. 9 Heaven Sword Technique. She had heard her father talk about this sword technique before. It was one of the 10 great sword techniques of the Heaven Sect and was at the peak of the 9th level of the Heaven stage. Nangong Lei was also greatly shocked in his heart. He coughed and said, "Yenner, don't be angry anymore. There are still 2 months until the date of the Purple Taboo Martial Meet. During this period of time, cultivate well, and then cut off Long Fei's tendons in his limbs and wash away his shame." Nangong Yen immediately turned around and grabbed Dongfang Jian's arm with one hand and said, "Big brother Jian, you will teach me, right?" It instantly became intimate. Dongfang Jian was even more lost in thought. He nodded his head like a chick pecking rice. "Of course I will." Nangong Yen suddenly leaned on Dongfang Jian's shoulder, and a cold glint flashed past his eyes. He swore in his heart, "Long Fei, I will definitely kill you during the forbidden purple banquet." Chapter 75, Enemy Attack. Chapter 75, Enemy Attack, Be Good at Home. Long Fei stood at the courtyard entrance and pulled Jojo's small hand. Jojo's face flushed red. She did not dare to raise her head to look at Long Fei as she nodded and said, "Young master must take good care of yourself outside as well." Don't worry. Long Fei laughed all over. At this time, Long Shan and the others walked over and said, "Young master, it's about time." Long Fei replied, "Got it." Then, Long Fei said softly to the courtyard, "Shadow, you have to protect Jojo while I'm not around, and don't forget to cultivate as well. Your current cultivation is not qualified to be my shadow." He had fought with Shadow last night, 3 moves of slay. And this was even under the premise that Long Fei did not use the toting skill and dragon salure technique. There was no sound from the courtyard. Long Fei didn't say much. Seeing Jojo lightly kiss her forehead, he said, "Wait for my return properly." After he finished speaking, Long Fei walked out of the courtyard and shouted towards Long Shan and the others, "Let's go." Jojo fiddled with the corner of her clothes, her cheeks scarlet red, her body burning with passion. Seeing Long Fei walk far away, her heart immediately became empty as she muttered, "Young master, you have to take good care of yourself, okay?" The shadow's low voice sounded in her ear. "He's still in a daze. He's already gone far away." Jojo's face flushed red again. Hundreds of thousands of barren mountains, the border region of Fire Glass Dynasty. The desolate mountain was incomparably dangerous. This was also the main way for the evil demons to enter the Fire Glass Dynasty. Because of the Long family's protection, not a single evil demon had entered the Fire Glass Dynasty's territory in all these years. It could be said that without the Long family's army, there would be no peace and prosperity for the Fire Glass Dynasty. The Long family's combat ability was extremely valiant. It was the strongest army in the Fire Glass Dynasty. This army was not ordered by the royal family, they were ordered by the Dragon God warriors, or perhaps by the Supreme Dragon King. And the Dragon God warriors, or the Dragon family's supreme being, must obtain their recognition. This time, Long Fei was not the only one who entered the Long family's army. There were also Long Shan and the 8 Long family disciples. 10 days later, in a small forest, a bonfire was lit and everyone was gathered in a circle. I heard that the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains where the Long family army is located in is hell, and ordinary people can't hold on for 3 days. It's more than just hell. It's 10,000 times more dangerous than hell. The Long family's army was trained by the Long family's grand ancestor. They have been standing here for less than 10,000 years because they had the will of their ancestors, the will of the dragon soul. In the past, the 18 dragon cavalry of the Long family had slaughtered countless demons and demons over 100,000 miles, and they were so awe-inspiring and awe-inspiring. The invasion of the demons was blocked by the Long family's army. Without them, the world would not be as peaceful as it is now. I never would have thought that we would have to reduce the military expenditure. I really don't know what the emperor is thinking. I heard that the matter of cutting the military expenditure was brought up by Nangong Lei. Motherf Asterisker, our Long family, is helping the Nangong family to protect the borders, but they are actually treating us like this. They are 2F Asterisk King unhappy. Along the way, the 10 people were constantly discussing. They were not very old. The oldest was only 20 years old, and they were all hot-blooded. They were very angry about the actions of the Nangong imperial clan. They felt indignant for the Long family's army. Long Fei had never thought of these because these were simple truths. The Long family was weak. If the Long family was strong, would Nangong dare to reduce the military expenditure? Nangong Lei dared to raise such an objection. It was almost the same as courting death. The change was simple, strong enough. That was why Long Fei did not participate in these discussions along the way. He took out the heavenly dragon gaze and read it more than 10 times, but did not record anything regarding the great desolate mountains prairie fire. Only the last words of the book. In the great desolate mountain, with a single thought, I will kill all living things. The person who wrote the book said it was a roaring fire dragon. Long Fei had also checked some records. The hundreds of thousands of barren mountains was called Great Desolate Mountain tens of thousands of years ago. If it really is a fire dragon, tens of thousands of years have passed. Is that fire dragon still alive? Long Fei asked himself. No matter if I am there or not, for my grandfather's sake, I have to find it. Even if there was the slightest bit of hope, Long Fei would not give up. In this world, the only thing that could save his grandfather was a large amount of dragon blood. He had to find it. Long Shan walked up and said, "Young master, your mind is very heavy along the way. What are you thinking about? You're not worried about the Long family's severity, are you?" Everyone gathered around him. They now had incomparable respect for Long Fei. Long Feng replied, "Young master, there's no need to worry. No matter what, you're still the young master of the Long family. The Long family's army must also think it over carefully. Young master, we will help you. Yes, we will all help you." Long Fei closed the book and laughed lightly. "Thank you, brothers, for your kind intentions, but in the army there will be no young master of the Long family. We are all rookies. We have to listen to everything you say." "Huh, you're the young master?" "Yeah," Long Fei replied. "It's the same if I'm the Long family's patriarch. There's no exception to the Long family army. If there's an exception, then I won't be called Long family army. The Long family's army has stood for 10,000 years and is still the strongest army in the Fire-Glass dynasty. They didn't rely on the Long family's ancestors. They relied on their perseverance and will to never lose. Our entrance into the Long family's army is a trial, so no matter how unfair the situation is, we must endure it." He had planned everything before he came. Everyone looked at Long Fei and realized that Long Fei had really changed, becoming more mature than them. The admiration in their hearts grew even deeper. Long Fei stretched his back and said, "Everyone should rest early. We'll arrive tomorrow." Long Shan also urged, "Disperse, disperse." Everyone scattered and slept on the ground. Long Fei looked at the night sky and thought about the current situation of the Long family. He thought to himself, 3 pillars, the Nangong imperial clan, they are all hard bones, and every single one of them is eyeing the Long family like a tiger eyeing its prey. Grandfather is also severely injured. Currently, Uncle Long is the only one left in the Long family. Facing the 4 great powers that are crushing him, Uncle will definitely have a hard time even moving. I wonder if we can withstand it. F***CK. I must become strong. I must let the Long family last for thousands and thousands of years. He clenched his fists. Slowly, Long Fei fell asleep in a daze. In his dreams, he saw Jojo. He saw Lu Luoshi's smile. He saw Yi Xian's youthful and beautiful appearance. He saw Xiao Tiantian's cute and mischievous appearance. He saw Fu Xishan taking off her veil. And he saw his shadow. In his dreams, Long Fei revealed a faint smile while he was rolling on the bed with these women. Suddenly, he could feel a dangerous aura approaching. At this moment, Long Fei instantly sprung up and fiercely roared, "Hurry and get up! There's an enemy attack." As soon as his voice faded, the sound of orderly footsteps could be heard in the forest. Danger! Chapter 76. Do not save one's life when one sees one's death. Chapter 76. Do not save one's life when one sees one's death. Everything was too sudden, too fast. Before they could react, several cold spears were already nailed to their throats, preventing them from moving even a little bit. Long Shan roared, "Young lord, run!" While they were talking, Long Shan rushed forward without caring about anything else. Long Fei's reaction speed was fast. If he were to fight head-on at this time, he would only be seeking death. "Run first!" Tiny rippling steps. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk with the true breath activated. Long Fei released all of his power into his speed and rushed into the dark forest. The first thought that came to mind was of Nangong Lei's assassination, or perhaps the death warrior of the Zhuge clan. Flee first. Only by saving their lives would they be able to turn the situation around, seek revenge, and save them. However, seeing that no one was chasing after them, Long Fei slowly stopped. He did not flee far away, but silently walked back. Humph! They're all trash. A masked man's eyes were filled with contempt. Long Shan was pushed to the ground by the two of them. He glared at the leader and shouted, "Who are you? You know who we are?" "Rob. You still dare to look at me like that?" The masked man kicked. "Does your father care who you are? I am the Lord here." At this time, a black-robed guard whispered into his ear. The masked man frowned and laughed coldly. "Long Fei, you think you can escape? Ha ha ha. I'll give you a choice. If you want to save your brother, I'll give you your life in exchange. I have no interest in the lives of these trash. What I want is your life." The sound was very loud, covering the entire small forest. There was no response. The masked man said, "Since when did the Long family have such a cowardly trash? How boring." There was still no response from the forest. The man's eyes were filled with disdain as he said coldly, "I'll give you 3 days to think about it. If you don't appear within these 3 days, then the 9 of them will be beheaded. When that time comes, you can help them collect their corpses." "Ha! Young Master Long." "Humph, he's just a timid junior." Finished. The man moved his spear and shouted, "Tie them up, return to the village." "Ha!" The many black armored warriors quickly tied up the 9 Dragon Clan disciples. Who is it? Nangong Lei's people? A member of the royal family? Or Zhuge Tianlong, Li Chongtian's people? In the darkness, Long Fei's mind raced as he thought about it. He was sure that this was a premeditated ambush, and he knew the path they were going along from the beginning. The Long family absolutely kept the fact that they were going to the Long family's army a secret. Moreover, they had all quietly left the city, and the only people who knew about this were Long Zhanhai and a few of the elders from the Long family. If that was the case, Long Fei's heart tensed up. The current situation of the Long family is just too dangerous. To the Long family's army. Long Fei did not rush out in a hurry to save Long Shan and the others. He was very clear that he alone was not enough to fight against the black armored warriors. The masked man was even an expert of the war chief realm. The only way was to find the Long family's troops and have them send out their troops to crush these black armored soldiers. And then Long Fei quickly rushed out. "Long Shan, all of you must hold on." After a night of running, Long Fei did not rest for even a second. At daybreak, Long Fei walked to the entrance of a huge mountain stronghold. On top of the stronghold hung a flag with the word dragon written on it. Long Fei immediately shouted, "Open up! Open up!" One of the Long family guards looked at Long Fei seriously, and his expression immediately changed. He shouted angrily, "Where did this little thief come from? Scram!" Long Fei shouted, "I am the disciple of the Long family. Long Fei, I want to meet your general." "A Long clan disciple? Long Fei? I've never heard of it. Do you have any proof?" The guard asked. "A certificate?" Long Fei was dumbstruck. This time they didn't bring anything, the only tokens that the Long family disciples had. If one were to say that the proof was only from the dragon bloodline blood lineage in their bodies. However, the negative activation to dragon blood in his body basically did not have any proof of a blood lineage. Long Fei became anxious and said, "I am really a member of the Long family. Please inform them that I was attacked on my way here All 9 of our brothers have been captured. What's your name without proof? In my opinion, you are an evil spy. Are you going or not? If you don't leave, I'll give the order to fire the arrows." The guard shouted, and the crossbow wielder suddenly appeared and pulled the bow and arrows, locking onto Long Fei, who was below the mountain stronghold. This scene shocked Long Fei. He thought that since there weren't many people guarding this mountain village, who would have thought that there would be so many crossbows hidden? If he were to barge in, he would definitely be courting death. The Long family army was indeed extraordinary. It was also at this time a man with the appearance of a deputy general walked out and coldly snorted, "What are you arguing about? Can't you let me sleep now?" Reporting to Vice General Chen, there is a person below who claims to be a disciple of the Long family. He said that he was ambushed in the mountains and wants us to send troops to help him. The guard said truthfully. Vice General Chen was shocked and said loudly, "Could it be those bandits from Skyline Camp?" "What? You need our help." Who does he think he is? Even the emperor back then didn't have the qualifications to make us send out troops. You, a mere disciple of the Long family, want me to send out troops? Who are you? Long family's Shizun? Vice General Chen disdainfully shouted. "Brat, you better get the hell away from me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. You can't even take out the proof, and you're still talking about the disciples of the Long family. TSK. The disciples of the Long family have never seen their own brothers being captured and fleeing for their lives. One look at you and you tell them that you're not one, or that you're just a useless trash who's as timid as a mouse." Vice General Chen's eyes were filled with contempt. Long Fei was enraged. "Fuck you, just you wait. One day, you will kneel before me." He didn't think that the Long family would have such an appearance. What Fire Glass City's #1 Legion, they were a proud and arrogant army. Long Fei did not even hold any hope for them anymore. Since they were not willing to send troops to help, Long Fei would definitely not lower himself to plead with them. He turned around and left. At the same time, he silently muttered in his heart, "Skyline Camp, right?" Just as Long Fei was about to leave, Vice General Chen could not hold back his laughter. "Kid, this is the first stage. If you are unable to pass this stage, you will never be able to enter the Long family's army." One of the guards asked, "Boss, aren't you being a little too strict? The brothers of the Skyline Camp are not simple. The fighting strength of their group is truly intrepid." "Harsh. Ha ha." Patriarch's secret order is to use the most difficult trial to receive young master. Chapter 77. The Most Difficult Test. Chapter 77. The most difficult test. Long Fei's heart was on fire. Fire of rage. He thought that if he found the Long family's army, he would be able to solve all his problems. However, not only were the Long family's troops not willing to send out their troops, but they also suffered from a wave of ridicule and ridicule. Trash made him extremely unhappy, as he thought to himself, "When I return, I'll make you kneel down and sing Conquer." Skyline Camp. Black Dragon Army. Pioneer Camp Battalion Commander Meng Yu sat on the tiger head chair, holding his head up. "Battalion Commander, he will definitely run to the Long Army, and Vice General Chen will definitely not send out any troops. Will he be able to escape?" A black-armored guard asked. "Escaping is his only option." Another guard said, "If he runs away, then he doesn't have the qualifications to command the Long family's army." The 4 generals Feng, Yun, Lei, and Lei all disagreed with Long Fei taking control of the Long family's army. If it wasn't for General Long Yun's insistence, I'm afraid that he wouldn't even be qualified to enter the Long family's army trial. If he runs away, he'll be kicked out forever. This is the hardest exam ever. I have never seen it before. Long Fei is only at the second level of the war spirit. Even our Grand Master is stronger than him. How can he be a match for our pioneer camp? I bet he'll run away. Meng Yu's mind was also in a mess, but when he heard this, he became even more agitated. He really didn't like to think. Meng Yu stared at Hushan, who was waving his fan. San Yi, what do you think? Hushan waved his fan and said indifferently, We are following orders. We do not need to think about it. It doesn't matter if Long Fei runs away, or if he doesn't leave. It has nothing to do with us. Meng Yu said, Then what about General Yun's orders? Hushan said, There's no need for an explanation. General Yun is only giving Long Fei one chance. He can't fight for it, is his own affair. If he gives up, it won't affect us at all. We would be happy and free. Meng Yu replied, a bit more direct. Hushan said with a smile, We'll just follow the orders from the higher-ups. Since the Patriarch has ordered it to be the highest difficulty, then so be it. All right. I'll do it this way, double my military defense. If he can't save these people from failure in 3 days, I can return to the barracks. Staying here is really annoying. Meng Yu relaxed the center of his brows, leaned on the tiger head chair, and fell into a deep sleep. Skyline camp. Long Fei stood on a tree with dense leaves and raised his head to look at the cliff that was towering amidst the clouds. In the Heaven's Danger Mountain stronghold, it was easy to defend, but hard to attack. If the Long family wasn't willing to send out troops, then he could only rely on himself. He didn't run away. Give up on his brother. He couldn't do it. The reason was very simple. It was because they were their own brothers, the elites of the Long family. For their brothers, for the sake of the Long family, Long Fei would not give up on them. Long Fei spent the entire day familiarizing himself with the terrain of the place. There was only one road leading up to the mountain, and it was patrolled by 6 lackeys. Moreover, there was a beacon next to the mountain gate. As long as one ignited it, they could see inside the village. If he wanted to avoid being discovered by the higher-ups, he could only finish off 6 people in an instant. Besides these 6, within 2 hours, 4 patrolling teams would be coming to change shifts. If he wanted to save someone within 2 hours, he would be discovered. It would take them an hour to reach the top of the mountain. It would be too difficult to save Long Shan and the others within 2 hours. It was completely impossible. Furthermore, they did not know what the situation in the village was like. No way. Long Fei calculated in his mind. No matter when, he couldn't do it in terms of time or other conditions. And then, Long Fei continued to look at the terrain. He walked to the bottom of the cliff and discovered that he was in a huge lake. Long Fei dove head first into the lake, but the bottom of the lake could not be seen. The cliff was 2,000 meters high. If he jumped down from here, with the cultivation bases of Long Shan and the rest of them, they shouldn't fall to their deaths. However, the risk is too high. Long Fei lifted his head to look at the cliff once again, but he denied it in his heart. The lake was indeed big, but if the wind changed, then there would be a huge deviation. At that time, the result would be death. Long Fei could not take his brother's life as a joke. Following that, Long Fei thought of a new method. Time passed bit by bit. In the blink of an eye, night came. The night patrol did not relax at all. 1 day passed. Long Fei still did not think of the best way. Moreover, in this case, there was no best way. Skyline camp meeting room. The first day has passed. That kid didn't react at all, and our people didn't find any trace of him either. Clearly, that kid has escaped. I guess we scared him to death some night. The 3 great generals are right. Negative activation to dragon blood people are simply unworthy of being the Long family's patriarch, and even more unworthy of being the commander of the Long family's army. There are only 2 days left. Meng Yu muttered, Brat, admit defeat. Even if the Skyline camp had thousands of troops, they still wouldn't be able to get close to it. The difficulty of the mission was too high. In the history of the Long family army, there had never been a person who had passed such a difficult test. Even if it was the Grand Preceptor, it would only be in the third level of difficulty. At that time, he was still in the war chief realm, and Long Fei was only at the second level of the war spirit. The next day, Long Fei was still observing. He noticed there were only a few people patrolling outside the mountain gate, and it was just 10 people patrolling around. Moreover, there must be a lounge halfway up the hill. Although it was just a small discovery, it had given Long Fei a pleasant surprise, and his confidence to enter the Skyline camp increased by another level. At daybreak, Long Fei came to the lakeside again and observed the wind here. The second day passed. Everything was still calm. In many people's hearts, Long Fei had already given up. At the Long Army's headquarters, Long Feng laughed. Junior Sister Yun, don't hold any hope for him. Long Fei is not his father, and even his father would find it hard to pass the hardest exam to pass. Long Lei also laughed. The patriarch is crazy. He actually gave the order to use the most difficult mission to test Long Fei. Long Lei replied, he definitely knows that we won't agree to it, so he did it this way. If it's the normal difficulty, then, since that kid passed, wouldn't we have to listen to him? The supreme dragon elder of negative activation to dragon blood, wouldn't he be laughed to death by others? A girl with red skin, wearing a suit of armor, looking valiant and formidable, Long Yun. She was also the only female out of the 4 generals of the Long family. Long Yun clenched his fists and said, I believe him. Ha ha ha. Junior Sister Apprentice, I believe it's useless. This world relies on strength to speak. The other 3 generals laughed. On the third day, everything was still very calm. Mengyu laughed. Looks like that brat really escaped back to Fireglass City. I will send someone to report to the headquarters tomorrow morning to the 4 generals. Yes, sir. In the wee hours of the morning, when people were at their most tired, a black shadow forced its way into the mountain gate. Chapter 78, Mutiny. Chapter 78, Mutiny, the dark of the moon, the night of the high winds, the night of killing. At the mountain gate. It's the last night. That kid shouldn't be coming. What Long family's young master? He's just a coward. I don't think we need to patrol. Let's go back and sleep. The 6 of them began to casually chat. They did not know that danger was approaching. Shua! Long Fei suddenly jumped out from 3 meters away from one of them. Mountain hit fist. Bam! A fist flew through the air and hit a tree, causing him to faint on the spot. Without waiting for the 5 to react, Long Fei took a step forward, and like a ghost, he neared the second person and threw a punch downwards. Bam! The man's head was hit, and he fainted on the ground. Kneel down, toting skill. Shua! He crashed into a guard, sending him flying. There are 3 more people. Long Fei did not stop there. Furthermore, he did not use the true breath either. So killing someone at this time was not a wise move, because if one could not kill the opponent, they would let out all kinds of screams. Coma was the best way. Therefore, every time he used his strength, it was just right. Moreover, it was to make these black armored warriors seriously unconscious. Everything happened too fast. After 3 consecutive days of patrolling, they didn't have much time to rest. On top of that, they also had one last night to rest. The remaining 3 people didn't even have the chance to resist before they were hit by Long Fei and fainted. Long Fei quickly changed into black armor and rushed up the mountain. He did not go directly to the Skyline camp, but went to a resting hut halfway up the mountain. The 4 of them were snoring loudly. Long Fei's every punch, all of them knocked out. Huff! The first mountain gate has been safely completed. Long Fei raised his head to look at the skyline camp not far away and thought in his heart, "Brothers, wait for me." And then Long Fei quickly fled into the darkness. Skyline camp. Everything was normal. Mengyu walked into the dungeon, looked at the 9 imprisoned Long family disciples, and revealed a disdainful cold smile as he said indifferently, "It seems that your young master did not intend to save you." In his eyes, your lives aren't worth much. The expressions of the 9 disciples of the Long family turned cold. Their hearts were in pain, but they knew very well who would come back from such a situation. Moreover, they also didn't want Long Fei to return either. If he returned, they would be sending him to his death. Long Shan rushed up and shouted, "Young master is smart. He won't fall into your trap. Just you wait. When the Long family arrives, all of you will die." Ouch! Using the Long family's army to scare me? Mengyu laughed coldly. "You think I'm scared? You won't be able to see the Long family's attacks, because tomorrow morning all of you will die. Ha ha ha." The faces of the 9 sank. A person with a mental breakdown rushed out and directly knelt in front of Mengyu, crying as he begged, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I beg you, please spare my life. I'm not a disciple of the Long family. I have no relationship with the Long family. I'm begging you, let me go. I don't want to die." Long Shan shouted, "Long Cheng, what are you doing?" "Long Cheng, are you crazy? What nonsense are you talking about? Anyone would be afraid of death." After Long Cheng, 2 more people rushed forward and knelt in front of Mengyu, kowtowing and begging for mercy. "I beg you, please spare my life. We aren't members of the Long family either." Mengyu revealed a playful cold smile and said, "Very good, very good. As long as he's not a member of the Long family, I can spare his life. After all, my mission this time is only to target the disciples of the Long family. As long as you admit that you're not disciples of the Long family, I will spare your lives. I'm not from the Long family either. And me, I'm not either." The moment Mengyu's voice fell, 2 more people kneeled up. Of the 9, only 4 remained. Long Shan kept saying, "Are you all crazy? Have you all forgotten the Long family's teachings? Long Cheng, Long you, all of you come back quickly." Long Cheng gave a cold snort. "Long Shan, why are you worried for the Long family? Your surname is also bestowed by the grand ancestor, and you're not a member of the Long family. Why would you sacrifice your life for the Long family? That's right, that trash, Long Fei, has already escaped. If he wanted to save us, we would have come back a long time ago. You're right, what young master? In my opinion, he's just a coward. Long Shan, a wise man knows his place. You should just follow us." Without waiting for him to finish, Long Shan shouted, "The Long family gave birth to me and raised me. I was born a member of the Long family, and even if I died, I would become a ghost of the Long family. The Long family's men never kneel to anyone, much less beg. Long Shan is right. I believe the young lord will come." The remaining 4 people said, resolutely. These 4 were all disciples who had taken their lives from the Fire Wolf Valley, and they were extremely grateful to Long Fei. At the same time, they admired Long Fei in their hearts. "I believe that Long Fei will definitely return." Ha ha ha. "You all are really stupid. At this time, Long Fei is still coming back?" Long Cheng sneered. "He has already abandoned us." Mengyu had a smile on his face as he stared at Long Shan and said, "Why are you sacrificing yourself for a piece of trash? I'll give you one last chance. As long as you admit that you're not disciples of the Long family, I'll spare your lives and promise not to kill you." Puffed. Long Shan spat out a mouthful of phlegm and said, "Stop talking nonsense. If you want to kill me, then kill me. The three people beside him did not move at all. Mengyu wiped off the phlegm on his body and laughed coldly. He waved his hand and shouted, "Come here, release these 5 people. Those 4 inside, serve me the punishment." Long Chung looked at Long Shan and sneered, "Long Shan, you're really courting death." Long Shan looked at Long Chung with disdain. "Traitor!" Long Chung laughed. "I'm not a traitor. I'm sensible. My life is mine, not anyone's. Only fools like you would risk your lives for the Long family. Ha ha ha!" The 5 of them were brought out of the prison. A few minutes later, screams of pain came from the dungeon. Long Chung smiled proudly. "What a fool!" Hu Shan stood behind Mengyu and asked softly, "Battalion commander, is it too much?" Mengyu's expression was firm as he replied, "Not at all. This is the most difficult test. The assessment for Long Fei is also the same for the disciples of the Long family. The Long family doesn't need traitors with weak minds. The Long family is always loyal, even in the face of death." Mengyu did not regret what he had done just now. On the contrary, he was rejoicing that he had eliminated 5 dangerous characters for the Long family. If he did not eliminate them today, they might betray the Long family out of fear of death one day. "Fight! Hit them ruthlessly. We want to see how hard their bones are." Mengyu shouted harshly and, at the same time, said loudly, "I still have the same words. As long as you admit that you are not a member of the Long family, you will be able to eat and drink." Long Shan spat out a mouthful of blood and laughed maniacally. "Stop dreaming. The Long family's male child would rather die than submit." Ha ha ha. Mengyu also laughed and shouted, "Let's see how long you can hold out for." However, he thought to himself, "I like this kid. I need to think of a way to keep him by my side." Hee hee. Mengyu was unusually fond of these 4 people. "Is there anything abnormal at the foot of the mountain?" Mengyu asked. Hu Shan replied, "Everything is normal. That kid must have escaped." Sigh. Mengyu sighed and muttered, "Grand Elder will definitely be disappointed." Chapter 79. Have you thought about the consequences? Chapter 79. Have you thought about the consequences? If he escaped, he escaped. To Mengyu, this mission was worth it, because Long Shan and the other 3 made him very satisfied. The Long family's army needed this kind of loyal people. The Skyline camp was not very big. There wasn't even a decent mountain gate here. Long Fei easily entered the mountain stronghold. It was already 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Dawn was about to arrive in half an hour, and it was also the time when people were the most tired. The Black Dragon Pioneer camp knew that Long Fei wouldn't come to rescue them, so their defenses were relaxed as well, and they slept and snored in the army camp. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Long Fei carefully moved forward, trying to get a clear understanding of the terrain of the village. Prison? They should be locked up inside. There were 2 guards at the entrance to the dungeon. Tiny rippling steps. Shwa. Long Fei took a stride forward, both fists drawing his bow, and then shot out at the same time. Mountain hit fist. Bang, bang. The 2 of them didn't even have time to react before they were knocked unconscious. Long Fei rushed into the dungeon. The prison guards had already been removed. They all thought that if Long Fei didn't return, there was no need to continue guarding the prison. Dragon Mountain. Seeing that Long Shan's body was covered with wounds, Long Fei's anger surged. Motherf asterisk her. Touch this daddy's brother. Actually, Long Shan only suffered some superficial wounds. He wasn't unconscious, but had not slept for 3 days and 3 nights. He was too tired and fell asleep on the rack. Mengyu liked him. Even if they had to torture him, it would just be a superficial wound. If they had to torture him, Long Shan would definitely not be able to hold on. And then, Long Fei immediately gave Long Shan a highest-grade medicine powder. The moment Long Shan woke up and saw Long Fei, he had the urge to cry, "Young master, why are you here? You can't come. This is a trap. Hurry, let's go." He was just a person from the Long family with the surname Long. His cultivation was ordinary, his talent was ordinary, but Long Fei actually came to save him. The gratitude in his heart surpassed everything else. The three people beside him did the same. He was extremely grateful. Long Fei looked at the surrounding cells, where there were no signs of the other 5 people. He whispered, "Don't talk, I'll bring you guys to escape." "Why is there only the 4 of you?" Long Shan angrily said, "They are traitors, a bunch of cowards. Ignore them." As they spoke of these 5 people, anger gushed out from the hearts of Long Shan's group. Long Fei's brows tightened. He could vaguely guess what happened and asked, "Can you still walk?" "Sure, we're not severely injured, just a few superficial wounds." "Fine, follow me now." The 5 of them walked out of the cell in silence. Long Fei pointed to a pine tree not far away and said, "Wait for me there. I'll look for them." Long Shan pulled Long Fei back and said, "Young master, they are traitors." Long Fei said indifferently, "I brought them out. I want to bring them back. This is my principle." People are afraid of death. If it was Long Fei, he himself would have chosen to live. Then again, they were Long Fei's brothers. They were once. For this little bit of brotherly affection, he had to bring them out of this place. And once they escaped, it would be up to them to decide. The more important reason, they were the elites of the Long family. If they could persuade them to stay, Long Fei hoped that they could stay. Long Shan clenched his fists. "I will never betray a young master like him. Even if I were to fight against the Sea of Fire, I will never betray him." Long Fei's measurement made them feel admiration. Ha ha ha. This rescuer is too awesome. Long Shan and those other brainless people are still suffering in the prison. They are really stubborn. They just admit that they are not the disciples of the Long family. We are not the descendants of the Long family. Yeah, they'll be dead in a few hours. Big brother Long Chung, what should we do next? If these bandits let us go, where will we go? Is the Long family army going to return to the Fireglass City or to the Long family? Long Chung laughed complacently. "I've already thought about it. Let's go to the Long family's army. Long Fei will be running away. He doesn't even know what's going on here. At that time we'll dress up and say that we escaped by ourselves, going to the Long family's army trial. This is a rare chance to train here. Will Long Fei see through us?" Long Chung laughed. He's already scared himself to the point of pissing his pants. What right does he have to see through us? Furthermore, Long Shan and the other 3 have died. Who knows what is happening here? Ha ha ha. Big brother Long Chung is truly thoughtful. From now on, you're our boss. As they were talking, the door was pushed open and a gust of cool wind blew in. Long Fei stood at the door, his face a little ugly, his fists clenched tightly, but in the end he still said, "I'm here to save you guys. Quickly come with me, and leave this place." He had heard all the conversation. Tell the truth. He felt extremely unhappy. Long Fei endured it and thought to give Long Chung and the others a chance. Long Chung was shocked for a moment. His face paled for a second before he recovered. "Young lord, you're finally here." After which, he walked up to Zhang Xian excitedly. The 4 of them were also stunned, revealing a twisted expression. None of them thought that Long Fei would really come. Some people felt ashamed, some people felt guilty, and some people felt that Long Fei was a fool. Long Cheng's mind spun, and the moment he walked to Long Fei's side, he grabbed him and shouted loudly, "Someone come quickly! Someone come quickly! Long Fei is here! Long Fei is here!" "What are you all waiting for?" "Everyone, capture Long Fei!" The other 4's faces changed. Some hesitated, some didn't know what to do, but in the end, they still charged forward. "Young master, don't blame us. We were forced to." Dragon City's shouts woke everyone up. Meng Yu's eyes opened and instantly jumped off the bed before he could even put on the armor. He rushed out of the room and shouted, "Enemy attack!" Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. The black-armored warrior charged out with godlike speed. "This is bad. That slut Long Chung." Long Shan's eyes turned sinister. He didn't care that much as he shouted, "Protect the young lord." The four of them rushed out. Long Chung grabbed Long Fei and laughed complacently. "Long Fei, this time you won't be able to escape." Ha ha ha. Long Fei's expression was ugly. It was pretty ugly. Long Fei stared at Long Chung coldly and said, "Have you thought about the consequences of doing this?" Long Chung sneered. "The result would be you getting killed, and we'll enter the Long family's army trial. When we return to the Long family and become the elder and higher-ups of the Long family, maybe we'll even become a divine dragon marquis." Ha ha. Chapter 80, Desperate Land. Chapter 80. Desperate Land. Long Chung was very pleased with himself. He seemed to see his own brilliant future. He needed Long Fei, because Long Fei was the best candidate. Grabbing hold of Long Fei's great merit, Meng Yu would definitely let them go. And since they had entered the Long family's army and returned to the Long family after the trial, they would definitely receive great rewards. At that time, their lives would naturally go awry. Long Fei's voice grew even colder and said, "The moment I killed Long Zhanwu, I told myself that I would not kill any more members of the Long family because I knew that if a family wanted to become stronger, the first thing they had to do was to unite. But I'm going back on my word today." As soon as he finished, the true breath in Long Fei's body shook. 2,000 points. Buzz. 2,000 true breaths swarmed out, spreading to every inch of his body. With a violent shake of his arm, he directly repelled Long Chung and the others. At the same time, Long Fei pushed his body and suddenly fell to the ground. "Ka!" A strange cry came out of his throat. Before Long Chung could react, he had already charged out. Boom! Smashing into Long Cheng's abdomen, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Strangle him!" When the true breath entered Long Cheng's body, his internal organs began to twist rapidly, as if he was being strangled by a meat grinder. Ah! Ah! Long Chung clutched at his abdomen as he let out a painful scream, the blood in his mouth gushing out unceasingly. His internal organs had been completely destroyed. He wanted to grab Long Fei with one hand, and his body slowly fell down. "Long Fei, you can't escape either." Ah! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Long Chung for gaining 1,500 experience points, 100 true breath, and 10 energy values. Long Fei stood at the door and swept his eyes across the four of them, saying, "This is the result." Then, Long Fei no longer paid any attention to them and quickly rushed out. He had given Long Chung and the others a chance, even if they still gave them a chance after hearing the words that made Long Fei angry. But the moment Long Chung grabbed onto his desire to sell the owner for honor, Long Fei's murderous intent rose. Once he was sure that this man was dead, Long Fei would definitely not show the slightest bit of mercy. As for the other four, they no longer had any relationship with the Long family, nor with him. "Ha ha ha! Brat, you're finally here." A deep voice rang out. At this moment, the black-armored warriors quickly surrounded them. Long Shan and the others also rushed to Long Fei's side, surrounding him in the middle, and said, "Young master, we'll help you block them." Boom! Meng Yu landed heavily on the ground with an excited smile on his face. He didn't know why, but he was inexplicably excited. He didn't even know why he was so excited. Actually, in Meng Yu's heart, he hoped that Long Fei would come, because Long Fei was someone the Grand Elder had chosen. However, he knew that even if Long Fei came, he wouldn't be able to complete the mission. Only by saving the disciples of the Long family could this mission be considered completed, but now, Long Fei was already surrounded by the black-armored warriors. It was impossible for him to escape, even if he had wings. Long Fei shouted madly, "Fight!" Ha! The 4 people of Long Shan's group shouted together and ignited their battle chi. Meng Yu laughed out loud and said, "Fight? Just the 5 of you want to fight me? Long Fei, the only choice you have right now is to kneel down and surrender." Ha! The black-armored warrior took a step forward, his spear piercing through the air and reducing the encirclement by half. There was no suspense. There was no way for him to escape, nor did he have the right to do so. The difference in strength was too great, as was the difference in numbers. A Long family disciple asked, "Young master, what do we do now?" Long Shan continued, "Young master will protect you as you break through the encirclement. It doesn't matter if we die. You have to survive. You have to survive." Finished. Long Shan rushed out, but grabbed it back and shouted, "I haven't let you die yet, but you can't die. Do you think your life is yours? Your life belongs to the Long family. You guys are the same as well. Whoever dares to rush out randomly will not be my Long Fei's brother." "I can't die. They were his brothers." Even if he died, Long Fei would die in front of them. Furthermore, he was not at the absolute point of death yet. Long Fei smiled, stared at Meng Yu, and said, "You think I won't be able to escape?" Meng Yu laughed. "Haven't you seen the situation clearly? You think you can escape?" Long Fei said, "If I can escape, the next time we meet, I want you to kneel down." Meng Yu was shocked and said, "There's no next time because you're about to die." Hee hee. Long Fei chuckled, then said to Long Shan in a low voice, "Later on, I will break a hole in the south. You guys run towards that direction. Remember, you must be fast. Where is the cliff? Where are you running to?" Long Shan immediately shouted, "Believe in young lord." Long Fei laughed crazily and said, "Watch. Dragon Salyer." Wang. A loud sound was heard. Long Fei held onto his blade with both of his hands and continued to chop towards the sky, slicing the skin, breaking the tendons, breaking the bones. 7 moves were released in an instant. Saber chi accumulated. Long Fei pointed his blade to the south and bellowed, "Get out of my way if you don't want to die." Dragon chop. Swish. The first layer of saber chi swept out. At the same time, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Flee!" Meng Yu was shocked. Most of the black-armored warriors were also shocked by the Dragon Salyer in Long Fei's hands. Supreme Artifact S. The supreme treasure of the Long family, that dense domineering aura, that power that looked down on everything, made people feel fear. A blade aura directly sent all the black-armored warriors on the south side flying, instantly leaving a hole in the ground, and Long Shan and the others quickly rushed out. Meng Yu reacted first. He took a step forward and punched Xiang Longfei. "Where do you think you're going?" At this moment, Meng Yu's willpower seemed to have been activated. He did not put Long Fei in front of the young master at all. He wanted to fight because he wanted to see the power of the Dragon Salyer. Long Fei's gaze darkened. His right arm moved. Boom! Magic power of right hand. Coalescing for 10 seconds, the 2 fists collided. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Long Fei was forced to retreat a few steps, and Meng Yu, who was pressing down from the sky, was directly sent flying. His arms became numb, and he almost could not endure it anymore. This was only for 10 seconds. If he was able to condense it for 3 minutes, Meng Yu would be killed instantly. Block him for me. Meng Yu landed and rubbed his right arm, then roared out, Long Fei, you won't be able to escape. Again. Shua. Another layer of blade aura was released, causing a group of black armored warriors to fly out, and Long Fei instantly rushed out of the encirclement of the black armored warriors. Meng Yu laughed out loud. That is the edge of the precipice. We want to see how you guys escape. Chapter 81, Waiting for Wind to Come. Chapter 81. Waiting for wind to come without stopping Long Fei, Meng Yu was not in a hurry, because to the south was a cliff. There was nowhere to run. At the same time, he was also a little disappointed in his heart. After exchanging blows with Long Fei, his disappointment got stronger. He was excited by the appearance of Long Fei. He felt even more excited about Long Fei's power. But a mission was a mission, and if he was allowed to go easy on Long Fei, he would definitely fail this time around. This was the reason for his loss. Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. Meng Yu did not dare to push him too hard, because that was a cliff, and if he fell there, he would be smashed into pieces. The Grand Elder was just a grandson. If anything happened to him, he would not be able to bear the consequences. Bang, bang, bang. The black-armored warrior advanced forward step by step. His speed wasn't fast, but his defense was even stronger this time. Even Long Fei's dragon, Salyer Qi, couldn't blow them away. Hu Shan anxiously followed beside Meng Yu and said, Battalion Commander, there is a cliff in front. If only Long Fei could. Meng Yu said, I know. In the end, the key point is that I will reveal my identity. I just want to see what exactly Long Fei wants to do after escaping to the edge of the cliff. In his opinion, Long Fei was not a reckless person. Young master, behind us is the cliff. What should we do? Long Shan looked out and saw that it was covered by a dense fog. It looked like a bottomless abyss. Long Fei looked into the distance and took a deep breath. He then picked up a handful of soil and scattered it towards the sky. Wait. Waiting for what? Long Shan was puzzled, but he didn't ask. They believed that Long Fei definitely had a way, and even if they fell into such a hopeless situation, they still blindly believed in Long Fei. Stop. As Meng Yu's voice fell, the hundreds of black-armored warriors stopped in their tracks. The shield was set up, and the spear was set up. It was a battle formation with both offense and defense. Meng Yu walked out and said, I already said that you cannot escape. Just obediently kneel down and place it down. This is your only choice. Long Fei laughed blandly. The descendants of the Long family never admit defeat, much less surrender. Moreover, did I lose now? I haven't lost yet. Long Fei held his hands behind his back, continuously sensing the direction of the wind. He began to worry secretly. Meng Yu laughed and said, You are already standing on the edge of the cliff, and you still haven't lost? Being stubborn is useless. This world speaks for itself based on strength. Kid, you've lost. Accept your fate. In Meng Yu's opinion, this was undoubtedly a loss, and there was no chance to turn the tide, not even a sliver. Young lord, fight it out with them. At most, I'll just die and fight. Yes. Let's go all out against them. It wouldn't be a loss if we kill one, but we'll earn a lot if we kill an extra one. Long Shan also said, at this time, there was already no other choice. Retreat. His body was smashed to smithereens. It would be better to have a good fight. Long Fei continued, We should be there soon. Meng Yu curiously asked, Waiting for what? waiting for the Long family's army to come save you at this moment. How? A cool breeze blew past. Long Fei laughed and said, "Since you mentioned the Long family army, then I will explain it all to you. Pioneer camp of the Black Dragon Army. The fighting strength of the Black Dragon Army's black armored soldiers is not that great." Meng Yu's forehead tightened, and all the black armored warriors became angry as well. Meng Yu stared at Long Fei and asked, "How did you know?" His heart was incomparably shocked. He felt that he had hidden it well enough. Long Fei smiled slightly, from the night raids of U2 to the fact that the Long family's troops are unwilling to send out troops to your instigation, and also, the most obvious is the Black Dragon shield in your hands. This is the Black Dragon Army's unique shield. At first, it was only suspicion. Long Fei also knew that Meng Yu and the others were not ordinary bandits, nor were they death soldiers from Nangong Lei or the Zhuge family. This was because the auras they emitted was the kind of aura that came from battles on the battlefield, completely different from normal warriors. In the beginning, he had only suspected, but now, with the Long family's mocking and ridicule, it was just trying to infuriate him. The doubt in his heart deepened. Meng Yu was stunned. Looking at the shield in the black armored warrior's hand, he suddenly realized and said, "I really underestimated you." Long Fei said, "If I had not been careful, your Black Dragon soldiers would have suffered heavy casualties. Those people guarding the mountain gate all fainted from the attacks, and killing them was just a blade attack, and the dragon chop just now. Do you think I would not be able to kill your subordinates?" Long Fei had been controlling his power the entire time. After entering the Tianya village, his heart was even more sure. Long Fei looked at Meng Yu and said, "If I'm not wrong, this should be an examination." Meng Yu was extremely shocked in his heart, but he endured it and laughed loudly. "Since you know that this is an assessment, then I don't need to explain any further. You've lost, and you failed the assessment. Long Fei, resign yourself to your fate. I wanted to tell you my identity when you were in dire straits, but I didn't expect you to have guessed everything. This way, I wouldn't have any trouble." Meng Yu laughed and ordered, "Put away all your weapons. Wait." Long Fei shouted, "The examination has not ended. I have not failed. The word fate does not exist in my Long Fei's dictionary. The disciples of the Long family shall never be defeated." Meng Yu could not help but sneer and said, "Do you still have a way out? You simply cannot escape. 3 days are almost up, whether it is the time or the way out. You do not have it." Ho, woo, hoo. The cool breeze became bigger. A new day had begun. "It's finally here." Long Fei was slightly overjoyed as he looked at Meng Yu and said, "Didn't you just ask me what I was waiting for?" Meng Yu asked, "What are you waiting for?" He couldn't wait for anything. Just admit defeat. Long Fei felt the speed of the wind and said faintly, "I'm waiting for the wind." "Jump!" Long Fei suddenly shouted. Long Shan was stunned and immediately jumped down. Next, the other 3 people also jumped down. They had complete trust in Long Fei, even if they found out that Meng Yu was the Long family army right now. This was because Long Fei was the young master, the one who had risked his life to save him. This alone was enough. Meng Yu took a step forward and shouted, "Long Fei, don't!" Long Fei grinned. "Remember, the next time we meet, you have to kneel in front of me." Ha! Finished. Long Fei leaned back and directly fell down. He shouted loudly, "Tell your generals, I, Long Fei, am not that easy to defeat. Oh, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed wildly, and at the same time shouted at Long Shan and the others, "True breath protection." The four of them did as they were told. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The four of them released their true breath to protect their bodies. Boom, boom, boom. With a few successive sounds, they all fell into the lake. Meng Yu stood at the edge of the cliff, hearing the sound of the lake water splashing. The boulder in his heart fell. He immediately became as excited as a child and said, "Too cool, F***CK. Long Fei, you are too handsome. Ha ha ha." Chapter 82. Examination failed. Chapter 82. Examination failed. Long Fei and the other two swam out from the lake and went ashore. Long Shan asked, "Young lord, where are we going now?" "Long Army." Long Fei did not hesitate. This was their current destination. One of them said, "We were almost played to death this time. Do you still want to go?" "Yeah, they are too ruthless." Meng Yu's methods were indeed ruthless. They were forced to jump off a cliff. If they didn't wait for the wind to blow and deviate in some direction, they would be smashed to smithereens. Long Fei laughed. "The more ruthless you are, the more you have to go, and let them know that we aren't weaklings who can be pinched just because you want to. Don't you want to stomp over the Long family?" Huh. To trample on the Long family's army. Long Shan gulped and murmured, "I feel so excited just thinking about it." Ha ha ha. To trample on the Long family's army. This was what Long Fei wanted to do. Moreover, this would definitely be very exciting. If they wanted to subdue the high and mighty Long family army, they would have to trample on them. When facing soldiers, they could only crush them with force. Even if they crushed them to the point that they couldn't breathe, they wouldn't resent them. They would only admire them. This was the fastest way to gain recognition. Not long after Long Fei's group of 5 climbed onto the lake's surface, Meng Yu brought more than 300 Black Dragon Pioneer camp warriors with him and hurried back to Sleeping Dragon Valley, where the Long family's army was stationed. He wanted to tell her what had just happened. Right now, he wished he could fly over, because Long Fei had made him too excited. It had been a long time since he had been this excited. To him, Long Fei's completion of the mission could be said to be perfect. Noon. Sleeping Dragon Valley, Long family's military headquarters. Meng Yu excitedly told everything that happened in the past 3 days, as if he was a teacher lecturing under a bridge. In the end, Meng Yu didn't forget to say, "Young Master Long Fei is simply too handsome. Everything is within his grasp. There are very few people that Meng Yu, admire, and now he can be considered one." The 4 generals were stunned. Meng Yu was startled for a moment. Long Yun revealed a smile, then said, "The captured disciples of the Long apprentices. How do you feel?" Meng Yu immediately said, "Great cultivation Long at the war spirit realm and save actually completed the hardest trial possible. If it were not for them selling out, that this was a huge dragon blow to their hearts. Would not even know it was an impossible mission. Entered the Skyline camp. This Long mission said slightly, without waiting for him to finish. You said earlier that Long there were 4 more Long family disciples and interrupted Meng Yu. Meng Yu replied, "Were those last traitors. 4 people saved by Long Fei? They are simply unworthy Just tell me of being members of the Long family. No. And even more unworthy of entering and said the Long family's army trial. No buts. Long Lake a mission is a mission. What is Long Fei's mission? If it's an examination, then it's an examination. If he didn't complete the mission, then he didn't pass the examination. My evaluation of Long Fei is unqualified." Long Lei said in a serious tone. Long Yun's face filled with anger. He walked forward and said, "Great senior fellow apprentice, Meng Yu has already explained everything clearly. Those 4 people are traitors of the Long family." Meng Yu then continued, "Long Fei went to save them, and before he saved them, he knew that they had betrayed him, but he still went to save them. This means that even though Long Fei measured their abilities, he still wanted to save them. Great General, my personal evaluation of Long Fei is both wise and brave, and for him to be able to disregard life and death for his brother, Mengyu, admire him. He had experienced it personally, so he admired Long Fei. How many people can do this? Isn't that young master being pampered in one of the big families in the Fireglass City? Who could possibly risk their life with an ordinary disciple and call them brothers? No, Long Fei can. So he admired it. Long Lei said indifferently, Mengyu, a mission is a mission. If it's not a mission that you admire personally, then you've completed it. Moreover, he actually chose to jump off a cliff. What if he fell to his death? This method is against the Long family army. As a result, if he fails, we can return him back to his original form, back to the Fireglass City. Meng Yu was slightly agitated as he said, Great General, you're not at the scene. You don't even know the situation here. When we jumped down the cliff, Long Fei was extremely calm and accurate, even including the speed of the wind. This is the first time Meng Yu, have seen such an intelligent person. Great senior fellow apprentice, I know what you're thinking in your heart. Isn't it just because Long Fei's dragon blood activation is 0? Long Yun's face grew excited as well. She was happy for Long Fei. Long Lei's brows sunk, revealing a sneer filled with contempt. Long Yun, since you pointed it out first, then please see it clearly. His dragon blood activation is 0. What does that mean? This means that he's just a piece of trash. Useless, do you understand? I will absolutely not allow this kind of trash to take charge of the Long family's army. Anybody can, only Long Fei the trash cannot. Straight to the point. Lei Long did not try to hide it anymore. I just despise him. He does not have the qualifications to become the supreme Long family master, and does not have the qualifications to command the Long family army, just like his father back then did not have the qualifications. Of course, there were a few other factors behind looking down on Long Fei. Long Yun's brows also furrowed, and his expression became cold. He shouted, Long Fei is Long Fei, and his father is his father. If he does not give up, he will be the supreme expert of the Long family. He could say anyone, but not Long Fei's father. Long Yun continued to be tough, and if he is willing to continue the assessment, I approve of his passing the first round of examination. Meng Yu also immediately stated his position and said, I am the main examiner. Long Fei had perfectly completed the mission, and I approve of his passing. Long Lei glared at him and bellowed, You are not qualified to vote. Meng Yu scratched his head, laughed awkwardly, and said, I just want to express my views. Long Lei looked at his other 2 junior brothers, exhaled, and said, Since we disagree, then let us vote. I agree. Long Fei is not qualified. Please raise your hand. Long Lei raised his hand. Long Lei also raised his hand. Long Lei slightly said, Those who agree with Long Fei's decision to continue with the assessment, please raise your hands. Long Yun raised his hand. Long Feng hesitated for a moment before raising it as well. I think we should give him a chance. Meng Yu playfully raised both his hands and said, I agree with it with both of my hands. Long Lei glared at him, and Meng Yu immediately became impotent as he laughed foolishly. Long Lei laughed complacently and said, Half against half, Long Fei. Halfway through, the result was that Long Fei had failed the examination. They were going to be beaten back to the Fireglass City. At this time, Long Yun clenched his teeth and knelt down on one knee, begging, Great senior fellow apprentice, please give him one more chance. I am willing to use Yunlong Army as a guarantee. If he fails the second time, I will be late to become the general of Yunlong Army. Sister Yun. Long Lei's heart burned with anger. He hated Long Fei's appearance from the bottom of his heart. Clenching his fists tightly, he then heaved a sigh of relief, suppressed his anger, and shouted, "Good! Long Yun, since you want to protect him, I'll give you one more chance. You don't need to waste your time on other exams. Immediately let him enter the final round of the ultimate trials." When Long Yun heard this, he became furious and said, "Great senior fellow apprentice, do you want him to die inside?" Long Lei sneered and said, "I just want him to die inside." Chapter 83, Ultimate Examination. Chapter 83, Ultimate Examination. The Long Family Army, the Imperial Dragon Camp. Good wine and good dishes were served. "Young master, this mission will definitely be a perfect one. Great General must have decided to give you some big rewards. I just heard that this mission is the most difficult. Even the Grand Elder is only at the 3rd level of difficulty. Ha ha ha. Young master, you are too powerful. Ha ha." This time, before Long Fei could call for him, Vice General Chun had already went out to welcome him. Moreover, she called out to the good wine and good dishes, afraid that she would neglect Long Fei. This made Long Fei a bit suspicious. Logically speaking, we should be allowed to meet the great general or continue with the next round of examinations. Why is there no reaction at all? This is very abnormal. He did not know that Wulong Valley was quarreling uncontrollably for his examination results. Finally, the general of the Yunlong army, Long Yun, had actually used the entire Yunlong army as a guarantee, which was why he was able to keep Long Fei from continuing. Long Fei naturally did not know about any of this. Furthermore, they had not seen Meng Yu and the others ever since they had entered the Dragon Plains. Even Vice General Chun had disappeared. With just that one sentence, he had made them wait here. He waited for an entire afternoon, but no one came. Long Shan and the others were getting impatient. Isn't the Long family's speed a little too slow? What Long army? What exactly do you want us to do after waiting for so long? Aren't you bullying me too much? No, I have to go out and ask that Vice General Chen. Long Shan walked out of the main hall, but before he could step out, he was blocked by 2 guards. "Please wait in the hall." Long Shan yelled in annoyance, "Wait your sister. We've already waited for an entire afternoon, and you still want us to wait? What are you trying to do?" The guard replied, "Our order was to not let you leave the hall. As for what you're waiting for, we don't know. Please go back and don't make things difficult for us. I'd like to see what you guys are up to." As he spoke, Long Shan wanted to force his way in. The guard shouted, "Kacha, kacha, kacha." In the blink of an eye, the entire hall was completely surrounded. The 3 floors, the 3rd floor, the crossbows, the long spear soldiers, they were all so surrounded that not even a drop of water could leak out. Long Shan was not scared and shouted, "You think we are scared? You know who it is?" Long Fei said slightly, "Long Shan, let's wait. We will just wait, then come back and continue drinking and eating." This situation was not like the situation in Skyline Camp. Long Fei could feel a murderous aura from these warriors. As long as Long Fei dared to barge in, they would dare to shoot arrows. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was amiss. In the evening, a sumptuous dinner was served in the main hall. In addition, a woman in general's armor, who looked to be around 30 years old, walked into the hall and immediately locked Long Fei up. In the instant she looked at Long Fei, her eyes trembled lightly. The corners of her eyes were a little moist, and her eyes still carried an endless amount of yearning. No, it was a very complicated look of longing. Long Fei was secretly startled. He had never seen the woman in front of him before, but why was she looking at him like that? The woman was Long Yun. The moment she saw Long Fei, her heart sank. It's really similar too similar. It's exactly the same. And then Long Yun walked forward and ordered, "Fill up their wine cups. I have something important to announce." Long Shan said in a low voice, "Young master, she should be General Long Yun. I heard that she's the only female general in the Long family's army." Long Yun. Long Fei didn't have any impression of him in his heart. The five of them raised their wine cups, and Long Yun smiled. "Congratulations on passing the assessment." "Finished." She finished it in one gulp. "Can the military drink?" Long Fei asked in his heart. They were different. They were not the Long family's troops. Drinking alcohol was normal, but Long Yun was a general. He did not think too deeply about it, and downed the wine as well. Long Yun looked at Long Fei, his smile somewhat bitter, as he said, "You completed your mission very well, even better than your father. I'm happy for you. Long Fei, come out with me for a bit." Long Yun couldn't control himself. That year, Long Lei, and Long Fei's father had all come here to participate in the Long family army's examination, but it was also the time when his father met Long Fei's mother. Later, Long Fei's father abandoned the exam and brought his mother back to the Fire Glass City. At that time, Long Yun's heart felt like it was being torn apart. In the end, she passed the examination with a perfect score and chose to stay. After 16 years, she had never returned to Fire Glass City. She gave everything she had to the Long family, becoming one of the 4 great generals, the Yun Long army that was trained to be invincible, and the existence with the strongest fighting strength. He was putting so much effort just to forget Long Fei's father. However, the moment she saw Long Fei, the longing in her heart burst forth, and she couldn't control it anymore. Long Fei followed Long Yun silently. Only when Long Yun stopped did he stop, and Long Fei did not ask anything along the way. In his heart, he always felt that Long Yun was very friendly. "All of you can leave now," Long Yun said to the guards standing guard. "Yes, General." The guards retreated. Long Yun looked at the setting sun and said indifferently, "Do you know why I called you out alone?" Other than that, in the mountains, the most terrifying thing was the evil spirits. Some looked like humans, but there were also some that looked like demonic beasts, and their blood lineage belonged to the demonic clan. Innate strength. In addition, it was incomparably bloodthirsty, and its hatred for humans was especially strong. It could be said that he could kill anyone he met. The night passed quickly. Early morning, one of the mounted guards said, "The demon territory is right in front of us. Throw him into the Scarlet Flame Valley." "Isn't that a bit too cruel?" "We will do as you say. This is General Long Lei's order." After entering the demon territory, who would be able to come back alive and kill demonic beasts? This is impossible. I really don't know why General Long Lei would want to test Long Fei like this. Don't you want him to die? It wasn't General Long Lei who was going to take the test on Long Fei at all, but General Long Yun, who didn't even hesitate to use the Yun Long army as a guarantee. If not for General Long Yun, Long Fei would have already been sent back to the Fire Glass City. I heard that the Long family is currently very unstable and has been completely crushed by the 3 pillars and the royal family. So what? As long as our Long family's army is still here, who would dare touch a single hair on the Long family's head? That's true. After chatting for a while, they put Long Fei down. Actually, on the way, Long Fei had woken up. Listening to their conversation, he thought to himself, "I actually used the Yun Long army as my guarantee." Long Fei felt very bad in his heart, recalling the words he vaguely heard while he was unconscious. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "Has father been here before? Is mother also a member of the evil demon clan? Just what sort of past has General Long Yun had? Long Fei's brain wasn't strong enough. At this moment, the Iron Cavalry Guard spoke to Long Fei, who was pretending to be unconscious. Brat, don't blame me if you die. This is the path that you have chosen. Finish it yourself. After he finished speaking, he was about to throw Long Fei down the canyon. The canyon was unfathomably deep. If he were to throw it down like this, it would at least cost him half his life. Long Fei immediately struggled and crawled up from the ground, saying, I think it's better if I walk down myself. Huh. His voice startled everyone. Long Fei patted the dirt on her body and said, I'll have to trouble you to go back and tell General Long Yun that I won't let her down. At the same time, I will also tell your General Long Lei that I will step on his face and make him kneel in front of me and sing Conquer. Finished. Long Fei didn't even turn his head as he walked towards the canyon. The 6 steel cavalry were completely stunned. He stepped on General Long Lei's face, made him kneel down and sing Conquer. This brat, isn't he too arrogant? Chapter 85. I am a leopard girl. Chapter 85. I am a leopard girl. Boom. Sparks flew in all directions, and gravel flew everywhere. Long Fei held the leopard-tattooed girl and quickly jumped, dodging the attack. The leopard-tattooed girl was in Long Fei's embrace as she stared at him without moving. Her eyes were filled with curiosity as she muttered, Is he a human? The lava titan became even more furious after losing his prey. Holding onto the cliff with one hand, he used his 2 stone legs to support himself. His body curled and turned into a giant fireball, shooting towards Long Fei and the others. Holy **T. Long Fei's eyes turned cold. Is this enlargement stroke? The lava titan was exactly the same as the stone golems from a game in his previous life. He was made of extremely hard rocks. Red light shone from the cracks in the rocks, and his body was exuding a scorching aura that made it hard for people to breathe. He then looked at the leopard-tattooed wild maiden in his arms. With a large ponytail, 2 large eyes, and a leopard print shirt covering 3 points, This was also the leopard girl from that game. Stone man against leopard girl. Oh my God! Long Fei shook his head and said to himself, My poison is too strong. This is just a coincidence. It was also at this moment that the leopard-tattooed girl warned in a soft voice, Dodge. If you don't dodge soon, you'll be hit by the big monster's head. He. After saying that, he laughed excitedly. Long Fei really could not understand. How could he laugh in the face of death? He didn't have time to figure it out, because the lava titan was truly enlargement stroke. It instantly attacked like a bolt of lightning. There was no way to dodge it. It was too fast, and had already exceeded twice Long Fei's speed. Hiding was definitely impossible, so Long Fei put the leopard-tattooed girl down gently and said with a smile, Don't worry. The moment he turned around, Long Fei's expression instantly changed, and he roared out fiercely in his heart, Whoosh Wong! Buzz. Double attribute power exploded out. The true breath was burning, exploding. Long Fei's right fist sank. The muscles of his right arm tensed up, causing his clothes to burst apart. Magic power of right hand. Bang, bang, bang. Energy resonated from his right arm for 3 seconds. Facing the gigantic lava titan, Long Fei punched his fist out. The panther-tattooed maiden said in astonishment, Is he an idiot? The lava titan was a peak rank 3 beast, and it also carried the power of fire. Ordinary meat fists would immediately burn if they hit it, and this kind of beast could only attack from afar. But Long Fei actually attacked it with his fist. At this moment, rumble, rumble, rumble. The power shook the sky, and sparks flew in all directions. Long Fei's arm was numb, his bones were cracking, and his fist was burnt. The pain was unbearable. As long as they were killed, they would be able to obtain fire essence, and obtaining 100% of the fire essence would not be too difficult. Just when Long Fei was thinking about when he could start the refining process, the leopard tattooed girl's voice came from behind him. Are you a human? He killed the lava titan with a single punch. The leopard tattooed girl was extremely shocked, looking at Long Fei's back with incomparable worship. Huh. Long Fei turned around and looked at the leopard tattooed girl with his eyes. He nodded and said, "Aren't you a human?" Suddenly, Long Fei realized a very important problem. This was the demon territory. Was the leopard tattooed girl in front of him an evil demon? Was there such a beautiful demon? In the legends, weren't all demons hideous and hideous demons? The leopard tattooed girl's skin was white without a single blemish. There wasn't even a little bit of excess flesh on her body. She had a perfect and flawless cultivation. Moreover, the upper and lower regions of the body should be larger, while the upper regions should be larger. The twin peaks were covered in leopard stripes, and the veins could be vaguely seen. Between the two peaks, there was an unfathomable deep ravine. On her slender white legs, that little fart stuck out so much that it would make one's imagination run wild. Her figure was extremely hot. She was a perfect beauty. Was this an evil demon? Was there such a beautiful demon? Long Fei's mind was in a bit of a mess. Long Fei looked at her without blinking, completely unaffected. Her two big eyes were motionless as she giggled. "I'm not a human. I'm a leopard girl." Chapter 86. Don't you want to be my husband? Chapter 86. Don't you want to be my husband? Huh. The leopard girl? Long Fei was slightly shocked and said, "Leopard girl? But you look just like a human, and I don't see that you look like a leopard girl. Besides the leopard print barrier on your body and the leopard pattern in her core." The leopard tattooed maiden glanced at her clothes, then giggled. "My father let me cover him. I feel very annoyed. Sometimes it's very hot. I don't even wear it. Since it's hot, then take it off." Long Fei's eyes flashed and subconsciously said, the leopard tattooed lady said, innocently, "Daddy said that I can only show it to my future husband. Do you want to see it? I want to be my husband." Huh. Long Fei really wanted to see it, really wanted to see it. He had never seen a woman's body in his life, except for a few island movies. However, when he saw her innocent eyes, he immediately felt that he was too evil. He put away his lecherous heart and laughed. "Your father is right. The girl's body should be shown to his future husband. We must not let those evil and wicked people see it." Too naive. The big eyes were shining. It was truly a pain that no one could bear to hurt. "Beast," Long Fei cursed in his heart. "Such a naive girl. You think you can take her hand." Oh, the leopard tattooed girl was somewhat unhappy. She mumbled to herself, "Don't you want to be my husband?" Air. Cough, cough, cough. Long Fei choked on her words and coughed. "Isn't it too direct?" The leopard tattooed lady continued, "If you become my husband, I can show it to you. Furthermore, you saved me. Father said that I can repay you for saving my life. I can give my body to you." She had an innocent look on her face as she spoke. Very serious. He wasn't joking at all. As long as Long Fei agreed with a nod, she would immediately unbutton her clothes. Long Fei was really a little silly. He admitted that he was a little wretched, but when facing the leopard-tattooed young lady, his wretched heart could not begin to leach. He really couldn't bear to do so. The leopard girl in front of him seemed to know nothing. It was as pure as a piece of white paper. He couldn't bear to hurt her, so he just wanted to take good care of her. Now, Long Fei believed that she was no longer a human. Even if she was still a primordial human. Long Fei looked at the leopard girl's wild and sexy body, trying hard to calm himself down, and said, "It's not that I don't want to, but I can't." Long Fei thought about what Yi Zian had said in the Fireglass Mountain Ranges cave, and he sighed with emotion. In terms of people, why is there such a huge gap? If they were all like the leopard girl, how great that would be. The leopard girl muttered to herself for half a minute, and then said, "It's too complicated. I really can't figure it out. But now I understand one thing. Humans are not bad people. Daddy told me since I was a kid that humans are the most sinister and vicious villains in this world. So it turns out that he had lied to me for so many years. Humph. You still want to trick me into marrying Xiao, who, humph. Big liar." While they were talking, the leopard girl had an angry look on her face. She looked very cute when she was angry. Long Fei laughed and asked, "What are you doing here?" The leopard girl giggled and said, "I ran away from home. My father wanted me to marry Xiao, who was next door to the feral tiger tribe. I didn't like him, so I ran away." Hee. How is it? I must be very powerful. A young girl escaping from marriage. Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief, looked at the leopard girl's cute and playful appearance, and laughed bitterly. Awesome. Receiving Long Fei's praise, the leopard girl became even happier and said, "That Xiao who always wanted to see my body. Humph, I don't want to show him. I hate him. However, for some reason, my father likes him a lot. He says that he is the most outstanding genius of the tribe, but I don't think so." Her small mouth slightly pouted. Her mischievous appearance was really too lovable. Seeing her, Long Fei's mood couldn't help but improve, and he started to laugh loudly. "I don't think so, too." The leopard girl giggled again and said, "I think you are stronger than Xiaohu because you just killed the rock monster." Long Fei laughed and asked, "Just now, when you were in a desperate situation, you were about to die. Why are you still laughing?" He really didn't understand it. The leopard girl looked up at the sky and murmured, "Mother said that happiness is only a day, and unhappiness is also a day. If I had to face everything with a smile, I would have to face it. Moreover, Father said that Mother was in the sky, but I knew that Mother would only go to the sky after death. I miss Mother so much, so much." He didn't know why. Long Fei was a little unable to control himself, and the corners of his eyes were slightly wet. Looking at the leopard girl's yearning-filled eyes, his heart tightened. "Where's my mother? Where are you?" Every hint of kinship was incomparably precious to Long Fei. Even though his soul had transmigrated, he had truly taken everything in this body as his own. Grandfather, Jojo, the parents who mysteriously disappeared. His heart was filled with worry. As the two of them walked, no one spoke. The leopard girl was like a shadow as she silently followed behind Long Fei. After walking for around an hour, he finally walked out of Scarlet Flame Valley, facing the endless primal forest. Long Fei also did not know where he was going. Long Fei stopped. The leopard girl did not sense it. She knocked head-on into Long Fei's body, rubbed her little head, and giggled. Long Fei looked at the leopard girl and asked, "Where are you going?" The leopard girl had a blank look in her eyes and said, "I don't know either, but I don't want to return to the tribe. Daddy will definitely force me to marry Xiaohu." "Right, where are you going?" Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, "I am in the trial, and during this period of time, I will be hunting demon beasts to complete my mission." Hunting demon beasts. Hearing this, I feel very excited. Then take me with you. I can hunt demon beasts too. The leopard girl's eyes carried a trace of begging, and her large eyes blinked as she looked at Long Fei. It was a look no one could refuse. Long Fei said, "You can follow me, but you are not allowed to act carelessly. You have to listen to my commands." "Yes, my lord." The leopard girl leaped up on the spot, as happy as a little girl who got her candy. "Oh, oh, hunting demon beasts." As he spoke, he rushed down. Long Fei smiled in his heart and said, "Slow down." A few hours after Long Fei and the leopard girl entered the primeval forest. Several fierce tiger mask soldiers were searching for something in Scarlet Flame Valley. A warrior picked up a broken javelin and immediately leaped to the side of a burly, muscular youth. He said respectfully, "Young lord, she must have been here before. Keep searching." The burly youth's eyes were filled with rage as he shouted in a deep voice, "Little wild cat, I want to see where you can escape to." Chapter 88. He is a handsome man all over the world. Chapter 88. He is a handsome man all over the world. The idea moved. 3 seconds later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully strengthening his refining techniques. The reward is 1,000 experience, 100 true breath, and 100 points. Skill path, refining techniques, enhanced, grade. Level 1 yellow grade, the higher the level, the higher the grade. Proficiency, 0 out of 100 consumption. 10 true breath, the higher the grade, the greater the consumption. Strengthening, increased control of the fire element by 10%. Forging weapons has a 10% chance of receiving a fire spirit attack. Increases success rate against fire-attributed weapons by 10%. The strengthened refining techniques could be said to be a top-grade refining techniques because it had an additional 10% chance of creating a fire spirit weapon, which meant that it was an attack weapon of the highest attribute. It could also be called a top-grade weapon. Long Fei was secretly delighted. I can still strengthen it, but when I reach 100% of the refining techniques, every time I forge a top-grade weapon, it would be great. Early morning. Long Fei carried the 2 wild chickens back to the cave. The leopard girl was still sleeping soundly, but a faint smile hung on her face, revealing 2 shallow dimples. Her smile was very cute, as if she was in a beautiful dream. "Big brother Long Fei, you're really too handsome. Hee hee. You're a good person. Be my husband and warm my bed. Hee hee." He was talking in his sleep again. Long Fei smiled. "Silly girl, at such a young age, you are already looking forward to your husband's warm bed. Isn't it a little too early to be thinking about love?" He picked up some branches and started to cook the chicken. Not long after, the fragrance spread in all directions. The leopard girl moved her nose, and her stomach started to growl. Her eyes slowly opened, and like a lazy cat, she stretched her body and rubbed her eyes, then walked out. When she saw Long Fei not too far away from her, she immediately pounced on him. Exhilarating as she pounced on Long Fei's back, her 2 slender jade hands wrapped around Long Fei's neck, her entire person hanging on Long Fei's body. She giggled, "I want to eat, I want to eat." Long Fei's back was pressed down by 2 soft, bouncing lumps of flesh. That feeling, it was too wonderful. He had to say it. The leopard girl was completely unguarded against him. Long Fei carried her down from his body and said, "Go wash your face first, then you can eat." After breakfast, Long Fei no longer brought the leopard girl to hunt the demon beasts like he did yesterday. He still wanted to live for a few more years. Moreover, he did not want to be too bloody in front of the leopard girl. "Big brother Long Fei, I found a fire spirit grass." The leopard girl jumped to Long Fei's side, happily, and held onto a fire spirit grass. Her face was covered in mud, and she laughed extremely happily. To her, being able to help Long Fei was the happiest thing in the world. "Awesome! Long Fei praised as he took out the yet to take shape fire spirit grass. The leopard girl became even happier. He. During the day, Long Fei and the female leopard harvested spiritual herbs. The spirit herbs and demon beasts of the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains had a common ground. Their attributes were filled with fire element. In any case, the void spirit ring was large enough, so he would definitely be able to use it later on. During the second half of the night, Long Fei mysteriously disappeared in order to hunt demon beasts crazily. 3 days passed in a row. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Spirit. Long Fei moved his hand and checked the attributes. Player, Long Fei level 3 War Spirit experience points, 102/150,000 true breath value, 3,800 full skills, toting skill, second level of spirit, dragon salyer technique, second level of spirit, mountain hit fist, second level of spirit, second level of the spirit beast's ability, energy values, 100 points lucky value, 10 points integral value, 1490 points war pet, Xiao by infant. A series of attributes appeared in Long Fei's mind. Looking at the experience required to level up, Long Fei was secretly shocked. Right now, leveling up is getting harder and harder. Leveling up requires 1.5 million experience points. F***K. Moreover, as Long Fei's level rose, the level 1 monster's experience would decrease accordingly. Only by killing high-level beasts would it gain abundant experience. These 3 days, Long Fei's skill and proficiency had increased by a lot, and his comprehension in toting skill and dragon salyer technique had become deeper and deeper. Cultivating a divine-level skill to the great perfection stage would definitely be very satisfying. Long Fei looked at the sky. It's almost dawn. Prepare breakfast. Suddenly, a shrill scream pierced the night sky. Then, Big Brother Long Fei, quickly save me. Crap, the leopard girl. Long Fei's eyes darkened. His figure became as fast as lightning, and he quickly teleported out. Another scream came from the distance. Big Brother Long Fei. Big Brother Long Fei. Long Fei. His figure went further and further away, finally disappearing completely. Long Fei pursued continuously. When he returned to the cave, the leopard girl was no longer there. The surroundings were a mess. Even the javelin that the leopard girl brought with her was broken with one stomp. Crack! Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. The anger in his heart burst out, and his gaze locked onto the depths of demon territory. I promise you, no one can force you to do anything you don't want to. If anyone dares to bully you, I will make them regret coming to this world. Then the innocent girl should live happily every day, instead of forcing her to do something she didn't want to do. Whether it was his father or that Xiao who from the feral tiger tribe, none of them were allowed. Long Fei was enraged. In the past 3 days, he had been living quite happily. He was already used to the leopard girl being naughty, accustomed to her innocence, accustomed to her sleep talk, and deep in his heart, the leopard girl should be carefree all her life. He had to protect this girl. Whoosh, 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 asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk. Wait for me. I will definitely save you. Long Fei was like a wolf shuttling through the forest. Standing on top of a large tree, he asked in a low voice, Xiao Bai, where is it? Xiao Bai sniffed, Master, to the west. Shua. Long Fei stomped his feet, and his body formed an arc in the air. In the blink of an eye, he was already a dozen meters away. Young Master, should we send her to the wild leopard tribe, or... A man wearing a feral tiger helmet asked. Xiao Hu sneered and said, if we directly bring them back to a tribe of tigers and tigers, there's only a popular saying among humans, it would be to cook rice raw. When that time comes, even if the little wild cat disagrees, there's nothing we can do. Young lord is wise. Young master, that wild leopard tribe leader over there. Xiao, whose eyes were filled with contempt as he said, if anyone in the wild leopard tribe dares to disapprove, my fierce tiger tribe will immediately eliminate him. That old leopard isn't that stupid. He knows very well the situation of his tribe. Only by marrying his daughter to me can he save his tribe. At this moment, the leopard girl woke up from her coma and said fiercely, "Humph, my big brother Longfei will not let you go. He will definitely come to save me." Big brother Longfei. Xiao, who was startled, he looked at his subordinates. Those people all shook their heads and said, "I've never heard of anyone called Longfei in the wild leopard tribe." The leopard girl said proudly, "He is the most handsome man in the world and also my future husband." Humph. Pa, Xiao, who slapped him hard. "Bitch, I'm your husband." The 5 finger marks on the leopard girl's face could clearly be seen as her 2 eyes stared at Xiao, who. She did not cry, nor did she cry out in pain, but instead she stared straight at Xiao, who. Chapter 89. I want to stay until my wedding night. Chapter 89. I want to stay until my wedding night, Wulong Valley. On the mountaintop, Long Yun looked at the boundless hundreds of thousands of barren mountains and muttered, "Long Fei, how are you right now?" 5 days passed without any news. She was worried, but there was nothing she could do. Once, his father had not finished walking the path that he had chosen. Now that it was Long Fei's turn, would he be able to walk out safely? Long Lei walked over and laughed. "I'm afraid that he is already dead." Long Yun's face darkened and said unhappily, "Senior fellow apprentice, are you that eager for Long Fei to die? What good will it do you if he dies?" "Ha ha ha." Long Lei laughed. "I am just looking forward to his death. Back then, his father should have died inside. You." Long Yun's eyes were filled with anger as he stared at Long Lei. Long Lei's body began to emit anger, and he said, "If it wasn't for Long Zhanting, you wouldn't be the current you. I hate him, and I also hate his son. Trash with 0 dragon blood activation. This is the punishment of the heavens for Long Zhanting." "I'll tell you one more thing. Do you know where Long Fei was thrown? Scarlet Flame Valley. That's the territory of the demonic tiger tribe. Long Yun, can you give up on him now?" "Ha ha ha." Long Lei laughed wildly. He had his own selfish thoughts towards Long Fei, because he hated Long Fei's father, hated him for leaving, and that Long Yun still couldn't forget him. Long Yun looked at the wildly laughing Long Lei, his face filled with rage as he shouted, "Long Lei, have you gone mad? Am I crazy? Ha ha. I'm crazy for you." Long Lei stared at Long Yun. "After all these years, you are very clear what I have done to you. What about you? You still can't forget about Long Zhanting. He doesn't want you anymore. He took the witch and flew far away. Long Yun, are you still not giving up?" Long Yun coldly looked at Long Zhanting and quickly left. Not long later, a troop of cavalry soldiers rapidly charged out of the Wulong Valley, led by Long Yun. "Ah!" Long Lei roared towards the sky and angrily said to Long Yun, "Go." Even if he didn't die, he had still been captured by the feral tiger tribe. Even if he didn't die, if you bring him back, his mission would have been a failure. And I will take control of your Yun Long army. Long Yun, you will be despised by the Long family." Long Yun did not turn back. It was just like back then when she brought the Long family's army to the demon territory to save Long Zhanting. Watching as Long Yun rushed into the forest, Long Lei shouted angrily, Demon territory, wild leopard tribe. Leader, the fierce tiger tribe has sent us a letter." Devil's leopard frowned and muttered, Why is the feral tiger tribe sending this letter? Where's the messenger? He's been having trouble sleeping and eating these days. He regretted his decision. However, the wild leopard tribe was in a precarious situation right now. If they did not get married, they would be eaten by the feral tiger tribe. For the sake of the tribe, he had no other choice. Devil's leopard opened the envelope and frowned, a wave of anger surging out. Xiao Hu, how dare you? At this moment, a few elders walked into the tent and asked, Leader, what happened? Devil's leopard passed the letter over to them and said angrily, You actually caught my daughter. How did the fierce tiger tribe find out that my children were missing? An elder said in joy, Leader, isn't this perfect? Marry in 3 days, and the marriage will be a success. At that time, we won't have to worry about the safety of the tribe. Yeah, Xiaohu's actions have also saved us a lot of trouble. The few elders were overjoyed. The disappearance of the women made them feel like ants on a hot pan, afraid that the fierce tiger tribe would make a move. Devil's leopard's eyes stared wide open as he gave a cold laugh. I'm not using your daughter to make a marriage alliance, so of course you guys agreed on it. I also want to use my daughter, but that Xiaohu doesn't like her. Xiaohu is the most outstanding genius among all of demon territory. To be able to marry him is the dream of many girls. Exactly. Leader, let's make some preparations. That's right, it's still a joyous occasion for our tribe. They didn't pay attention to Devil's leopard's anger at all, but were instead overjoyed. To others, marrying the demon territory's most outstanding genius was something to be happy about, but he understood his own daughter very well. She would never marry a man she did not like. In that case, she would rather die. Furthermore, she had been looking forward to meeting her mother. Devil's leopard clenched his fists tightly. His heart was filled with helplessness. At this time, he hated himself for being weak, hated himself for not being able to protect even his daughter. Extreme hatred. The grand wedding of the young master of the fierce tiger tribe is coming in 3 days. All the 10,000 beast tribes in demon territory must participate. Ha ha ha. This is a joyous occasion for demon territory. You must drink a few more cups when the time comes. Xiao, who is the most outstanding genius of the demon territory. Naturally, he wants to participate in the marriage. It would be great if we could capture a few humans as gifts. All the tribes in demon territory received this invitation. The entire demon territory was talking about this matter, and many people were in the wild leopard tribe. The feral tiger tribe was the strongest tribe in demon territory. Being able to catch the attention of the genius young master was definitely a blessing cultivated by that girl for 8 lifetimes. However, in a heavily guarded tent belonging to the fierce tiger tribe, it was a mess. Clothes, bedding, and some gold and silver jewelry were scattered all over the floor. The table was overturned. With a kick, she flipped the bed over and shouted, Xiao Hu, let me out, I don't want to marry you, I don't want to. While they were talking, the leopard girl lowered her body and rushed out towards the door with all the strength she could muster. Bam! Coincidentally, he bumped into Xiao Hu, who had walked into the tent. Xiao Hu grabbed the leopard girl's hair and pulled her back. His eyes were like that of a fierce tiger staring at her, and he snorted coldly, Little wild cat, you better behave yourself, or else don't blame me for being impolite. Bah! The leopard girl spat on Xiaohu's face. Despicable, shameless. Pa! Yi Zichen slapped him. Xiaohu's gaze carried killing intent as he gloomily said, If it wasn't for the fact that I like you, I would have killed you with a single slash long ago. While they were talking, he pushed hard, pushing the leopard girl onto the ground, and said condescendingly, Little wild cat, listen carefully. I have already distributed the wedding invitation to every tribe. Our wedding will be held 3 days later, either you be more obedient, or I will make your father, your wild leopard tribe, disappear from the face of the demon territory forever. Xiaohu, will do what I say. I don't want to marry you. I don't want to. The leopard girl crawled up from the ground. When she heard what Xiaohu said afterwards, she suddenly quietened down. Xiaohu laughed complacently. Very good. As long as you listen to me obediently, your father, your tribe will be very safe. Someone come. Tidy up here and bring the bridal gown I prepared. After doing all that, Xiaohu walked out of the tent laughing loudly. One of the lackeys asked, Young chieftain, you brought her back to the tribe. Why are you still trying to reason with her? Go straight up. Does wild leopard tribe dare to say anything? Xiao, who smiled slightly, and said, 3 tigers, you don't know what love is. I want to save it until our wedding night. I can't hold it in any more. 3 tigers, one of his lackeys, immediately giggled. Young master, I have prepared a few of the best quality goods for you. Ha ha ha. Let's go. This young master will vent his anger properly. Xiaohu glanced at the leopard girl who was obediently sitting on the edge of the bed through the gaps of the tent, and smirked in his heart. On the wedding night, I'll let you know my strength, then you'll never be able to leave me again. After sprinting for tens of km, they arrived at a valley that was emitting a dangerous aura. Bring it on! The aura on Long Fei's body was suddenly released, and his figure sunk. He immediately took out the dragon-slaying saber, and with 1 person and 1 saber, he rushed into the valley. When the demonic beasts in the valley smelled the scent of humans, they immediately became furious. Roar! With a loud roar, the entire valley began to shake. Immediately after, demon beasts rushed out one after another. There were over 100 of them, standing at the entrance to the valley. Long Fei held the dragon's salyer tightly, the qi on his body resonating with the dragon's salyer's blade energy, slowly merging with it. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for comprehending the one with the saber realm. The damage for all saber techniques has increased by 20%. Bam! Long Fei took a step forward, and the dragon's salyer dragged itself on the ground as sparks flew in all directions. Facing such a huge herd of beasts, he was not even the least bit afraid. Don't worry about the consequences. At this moment, he only had 1 word: kill. The dragon's salyer moved, and a deep dragon's roar sounded. The blade, aura raged, and directly shot out from the dragon salyer's body. Open the skin. Break the bones. Tendon break. The dragon salyer combined with the dragon salyer technique against those level 1 and 2 beasts. It was as easy as cutting vegetables, 1 for each blade, 1 for each blade. After 7 moves were released. With the accumulation of the blade aura released by the dragon salyer became even more brutal. Dragon chop. Long Fei held his blade with both hands, poured the true breath into it, and suddenly raised it up. Bang, bang, bang. It shot out in a straight line like a gale. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for comprehending Gale Cut. You have gained 1,000 experience points, 100 true breath points, and 100 points as a reward. Gale Chop. The first move of the Dragon Chop. Boom. The moment the whirlwind slash touched the beast, a grimace appeared between Long Fei's eyebrows, and the true breath that was infused with the blade energy suddenly changed under the control of the idea. Rumble? It was like a hurricane as it exploded. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for comprehending Hurricane War. You have gained 1,000 experience points, 100 true breath points, and 100 points as a reward. Hurricane Cut. Dragon Chop's second form was activated. The hurricane moved, and swept the surrounding dozens of demon beasts into the air. At this moment, Longfei's body moved as he rushed into the hurricane with his blade. He bellowed, "Dragon chop! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! Asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk." The saber chi was as fast as lightning, dazzling. In just a few seconds, all 170 layers of saber chi were released. He had succeeded 7 times. After that, he continued to fail nonstop again and again, again and 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 again. However, a success rate of 70% for fire attribute forging was already heaven-defying. Forget it. The upgrade is more important. Longfei leaped into the darkness like a ghost. Noon of the second day. Ding! Congratulations to player Longfei for leveling up. Current level, 5 War Spirit. Huff! Longfei's entire body was paralyzed, and he was riddled with scars again. Fortunately, he had recovered from his leveling, otherwise he really would not be able to hold on. It was too hard. Every time was the limit. After resting for half a minute, Longfei checked the experience required to level up. Looking at the long chain of zeros, Longfei was dumbfounded. When will I be able to level up? What the heck? Longfei cursed in his heart. Isn't it too powerful to have his experience points doubled? Upgrade is getting harder and harder. Furthermore, the experience of the level 1 and level 2 demon beasts was becoming lesser and lesser, completely unable to satisfy Longfei's need to level up. If this goes on, breaking through the War Chief realm will be too difficult. Longfei frowned. I have to kill a higher level demon beast. But I'm not familiar with the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains. Where is the place where high-level beasts gather? Longfei was secretly annoyed. Moreover, what he was more worried about was the leopard girl. How is she now? Would Xiaobai move recklessly? He was not worried that Xiaobai would not be able to find him, but rather he was worried that Xiaobai would act recklessly. It's unlikely for him to level up anytime soon. 5 million experience points was too much, and it would take him at least 3 days to level up. The most important thing is to think of a way to escape the fierce tiger tribe. It's not hard to find the leopard girl, but it's hard to figure out how to escape. Longfei thought. At the same time, he checked the system. Refining techniques, engraving formation, alchemy arts, beast mastery. Suddenly, Longfei's eyes flashed. Beast mastery? If I can control a flying beast, I can easily escape from the feral tiger tribe. That's right. Longfei shouted excitedly. The feral tiger tribe did not have any crossbows in their hands. Furthermore, the feral tiger tribe was the most ferocious tribe in the demon territory, so it was impossible for them to charge out. The only path they could take was through the sky. If I could fly, then everything would be much simpler. Flying bird. Birds.